Give me a thumbs up.
Another Crab's Treasure. That game was like crazy, man.
Yep. Another game people were sleeping on.
All right, we're live. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Nintendo Prime Podcast, Season 2, Episode 60.
69.
Endless oceans! Yes! Woo! We got fucking monkey ball! Woo! Yeah!
All right.
I'm so fucking excited for this shit! Oh, yes!
All right. All right, everyone. Well, we're back. Welcome to the Nintendo Prime Podcast Season 2, Episode 60. Are you okay over there, Flam?
I don't know what you mean. What do you
Okay.
mean?
Yeah,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about
I
either.
just got here. I don't know what you mean.
Well, that's why I'm asking. You just showed up. I'm just like, man, make
Yeah,
sure you're okay.
I'm having a great time. Listen, I'm very excited for Endless Ocean. So, like,
Man, hey, we got plenty of time to talk about Endless Ocean. Don't worry about it.
oh yeah.
All right, folks. Today we have a lot to go over. We'll be talking about the obvious Nintendo Direct that happened the same day as this podcast. We will also get into some conversations around the Pokemon Presents that was announced and scheduled for next week. Any expectations, hopes, dreams, or if we think it's going to be a dud. And then beyond that, we also have all those. I don't know if you guys have heard. There's been some rumors and reports and all this stuff flying around about Switch 2 again. This time being moved to a completely different calendar year, so that's fun. Note I said calendar year. That'll matter when we talk about it later. There's also other rumors associated to this, including stuff on potential future directs and even an indie world, and maybe a new time frame for when to expect the Nintendo Switch 2 to be shown. We'll talk about all of that, though. That's one of our final topics. Actually, it is our final topic before we get to the Q&A. As always, if you guys have any questions you want to submit, $2 or up super chats, and we will answer those questions during the Q&A feature throughout the show, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All right, we're going to start a show the same way we do every single week, going around the room, introducing ourselves, and what have we been playing lately? And let's start with Mr. My Body is Ready, Thunder Steve.
Hey, guys, what's up? My name is Steve, obviously. Super excited to be on tonight's show. I run my own YouTube channel, Thunder Steve 85 Gaming, where I review video games from all consoles, both old and new. Been playing Nintendo pretty much on a daily basis since the late 1980s, if you can believe that. And I just absolutely love video games, obviously. But Nintendo's probably my favorite, guys. Over the weekend, I just beat and posted my review of the new Mario vs. Donkey Kong. And then earlier today, I played the new Contra Operation Galuga demo.
Ooh,
and just posted a video giving my impressions of the demo. And then what I'm going to be playing, I'm going to see if I can get one or two more games reviewed before Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on the 29th. Because once that hits, I'm going to be full force on that. But I'm thinking I'm going to review Penny's Big Break and then something else. Right from my backlog. Because, it's always staring me down. It's right behind me. So probably dig into that a little bit.
Makes sense. We have back on the show again. Blam! How's it
Hi,
going?
everybody. I'm good. So yeah, I've been playing some games. I've been playing a lot of the Pokemon DLC. I finally got around to that. It's better than the base game. I got that much to say about it. But I mean, it's still the typical frustrations I always have with Pokemon. I actually re-picked up Arceus out of nowhere. I was trying to get some B-roll for a short I was making, and it just kind of like clicked with me again, and I forgot how many of the side quests and missions I hadn't done. So I was like, oh, let's just play Arceus again. Yeah, and other than that, I haven't been in very good Nintendo simp. I've been playing Valorant. So, but yeah, most of it's just been Twitch, and I've been running the Mario parties and Drunk Lethal Company and stuff like that. That's my steez, but we're slowly rolling YouTube stuff out too. So
awesome, man. Awesome.
Yeah.
Eric, who wants more?
Sure.
That's from last week.
I know. I still don't get to set that.
Actually, yeah, well, you will be able. We'll get into this later. I'm changing my setup in a few weeks, but
Gotcha.
actually, by the time you come
By
back,
the time I come back,
come back
in 2 weeks.
Yeah, Eric will be gone for the next 2 episodes.
I will. Yay, work.
Is what it is.
Yeah. No. I don't think I've played anything. Yay. I was gonna play stuff tonight, and then sorry, I touched Madden for 5 seconds.
Yes,
yes.
He
oh dang it! I did it again.
Yeah, you did it again. Stop saying hi.
Hi.
Hey, you did it again.
I know I did.
Don't you love motion cameras? There you go.
I think
maybe. Nope.
There we go.
All right, Mike. Who the hell are you?
Hi.
I've never seen you before.
What's up? I'm new here. So shy too. I don't know what to say. You're putting me on the spot here. My name is Mike. Last name Odyssey. I play Mario and Splatoon. Well, no, never mind. I don't play Splatoon. I picked it up one time, dropped it immediately, and sold it for another game. But anyway, no, I've been playing Spider-Man. That's basically it. I'm the opposite of a Nintendo Sim right now. I'm geared towards because I've already played everything on Switch already. So waiting for something new to come out. Today we got some new stuff now, so I'm excited about that. So yeah. Thank you, Dave, for having me on the podcast and stuff.
Yeah, no problem, dude. All right, Andres, what have you been playing lately?
I'm currently playing Penny's Big Breakaway right now.
Wait, it's out already? It's out?
Yeah, it's channel dropped today.
Right now, while
I
we're
can-
on the
I-
podcast.
I can literally share it to you guys if you want.
Let's do it. I haven't got it yet.
Sure.
Is it fun? Is it fun?
It's
so far?
awesome. Yeah, no, I'm having a good time.
Yeah,
Good to
show a
hear.
little bit.
I
of it.
literally,
Why
I
not?
could show. I mean, has it lag? I don't know. I mean, it's
I
not
don't
gonna
know.
be YouTube videos, so I guess we'll find
No,
out.
we'll find out. Yeah, I'm actually curious too. I've never tried a game stream through here.
Let's see.
Let's
Okay.
see. Let's
I'm
see.
sharing in my OBS screen, so I have it set
Yeah.
up to play through that.
All right. Yeah.
It's
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
yeah.
Look at that.
Wait, oh my, this game looks sick. Like it looks like a Sonic, like a Sonic player's dream.
Yeah, it's
Look.
It looks interesting.
A game that does Sonic better than Sonic.
Listen, you can't do Sonic better than Sonic, honestly. It's too cold. It's too cold classic-y,
I mean, yeah.
You can, but you can't, you know what I mean?
Looks fun. Man.
yeah. I want to go back. I guess I'll have to play again later.
That's
But I wanted to get a secret over there.
Oh, okay.
Well, what didn't happen?
Well, I mean, it's a 3D platformer. Yeah, there's gonna be lots of hidden stuff and secrets and collectibles.
I just discovered you can actually move the camera a little bit with the D-pad. I thought it was
with the D-pad. Weird.
yeah. I mean, maybe you could change it in the options in the main menu, but yeah, I mean, you don't really need it though because it's isometric, right?
Yeah, it's like Kirby. We've forgotten that.
Yeah, pretty
Ah,
much. Yeah,
Okay,
that's a pretty good example, Kirby. But gameplay wise, it's kind of like I feel like it's a combination of like Mario Odyssey and Sonic.
Sure.
Okay. The best of both worlds.
Mm-hmm. Is this lagging at all, or is it like actually like running pretty well?
Just a little bit, but it's
Just
still
a little bit, but not bad. It's running
Yeah,
fine.
like you can still watch it just as fine, yeah.
Yeah.
Get
I'm
a
hooked
taste of it.
I need to get it now. All right, guys.
that?
bye.
You see that Sonic stuff?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. All right. Well, thanks
Heck
for
yeah.
showing one of the
Mhm.
games that popped up on the Direct today, which it's one we already knew about. It was announced in the past, but we didn't know it was going to be Shadow Drop today.
Yeah.
So that was pretty exciting. So we got to I guess get to me for a moment. I'm almost done. Been playing Ocarina of Time. A lot of people know if you've been watching my vertical YouTube short streams. I've been working on beating Ocarina of Time the last 2 weeks. We just finished the Spirit Temple, so I have all the medallions. Technically, I could like go to the end if I want. But I might mess around with my next stream and do some side quests. There's some things we didn't do. I didn't do any of the Happy Mask salesman side quests and any of that stuff. So I might mess around with side quests before I beat the game. We'll see, because I'm playing Majora's Mask after. And the thing is, do I want to mess around with side quests here when I'm going to have much better side quests the moment I start that game? So it's kind of like, I'm already going to spend like most of this next playthrough literally doing side quests. So I don't know. We'll see. I'll make up my mind when I start the next stream if I'm going to beat it that time or not. But you know, the thing I'm reminded about by playing Ocarina of Time, because it's my first time playing through it again in 12 years.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty much since the 3DS version came out. I beat it once, and then that was it. I haven't played it since.
Did you realize it's actually a better game?
No. Well, whatever. I'm playing the N64 version, so a lot of the same annoyances that the 3DS version fixed are back. Like, you know, not being able to quick change your boots and all that kind of stuff. But honestly, I really enjoy the game. Like, this is the game that got me into what eventually led to me being a YouTuber, was Ocarina of Time. I've never not liked the game. So, you know, people give me flack because it's not in my top 10 Zelda games. You know how many damn Zelda games there are? It's almost 20 of them. Like, not being in the top 10 is not a bad thing. It
Mhm.
just means that's how damn good this franchise is.
Yeah.
There's so many damn good games that like it's not an insult to not be in the top 10. And I am reminded while playing it that as much as I really am enjoying it, it's one of those things that I think, and I still think it to this day, that people overinflated a little bit because of the time period. It was epic when I was 12.
Yeah.
Today, it's all right.
Mhm.
So like its its reputation's a little overinflated because it was a very important game when it came out. But so was Tetris and so was Pong, and no one considers those like the best.
Oh, I just started watching the Tetris movie on Apple TV.
Oh,
No,
nice.
yeah,
Good
it's
movie. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Really good. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff
Very
I didn't know,
awesome.
and I'm like, dude, this is kind of cool. And then I looked up like, hey, how much of this is true? And it turns out like, oh yeah, most of it. I'm like, oh well,
Yeah.
shit, this is awesome.
Did the same thing after.
Because I'm always like, based on a true story. Like, yeah, but how based? Like,
Yeah.
oh no, actually, they
based.
they did a pretty damn good job. So I'm like, cool. I mean, obviously they had to make up a few things, but that's life. All right. So that being said, we'll probably end up beating that this week. Moving on to Majora's Mask, and I did download the Contra demo and the Unicorn Overlord demo. I downloaded those, but I haven't started them yet. I will probably just plow through those this upcoming week as well. But I'm really excited for both of those, and maybe Penny's Big Breakaway. We'll see. That might get picked up in the next week here. I'm already pretty sold on the game, but I'm just waiting
$30
for.
bucks.
Yeah, I know, and I'm just waiting for the reviews to come in and be like, "Hey, justify." Like, if it's anything 70 and up, I'm picking it up. It's happening. So, I'm pretty sure, based on what I've seen of the gameplay from others as well, that like, this game's gonna.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's. I mean, maybe you could call it a 7 if you hate fun games. I guess. Some people do.
funny.
Some people do, dude.
So, yeah, I mean, you're not wrong there. All right. So that being said, that's kind of a great way to get into our first topic, talking about some of those games that were in the Direct, because hey, we had a Nintendo Direct. We finally had one. Our first one in 2024. We did the whole bingo prediction episode like 3 weeks ago. Now here we are. We actually had a Direct. They called it a Nintendo Direct. They didn't call it a Nintendo Direct Mini, although it very much felt like a Nintendo Direct Mini. How it was edited,
Yeah.
how it was put together.
The new intro. Nice.
New intro, new graphics.
Yep.
Like that's kind of cool. Refreshing things.
Very cool.
Like I actually really thought that was, they do this every once in a while. Every handful of years they refresh everything, and obviously I feel like the intent to refresh is we're heading into a new generation. But you know what? We'll get into that later. But so the partner showcase, and there's a lot of games. I put the list. This probably isn't even all of them. It was taking me so long to write the list down that I'm like, you know what? I think this is good. We can stop at some point. But there was a lot of really great stuff in here. And for me personally, I actually thought it was a solid B, maybe a B+ grade. Because I went into the partner showcase. Look, we already had all the leaks from PRO. And look, he's just a goat. It is what it is. You just trust the bird. If he hints towards it, it's happening.
It's not a leaker. It's a spoiler.
He likes a post mentioning a game. It's in it. It just is what it is. He said, "Oh, Contra, it'll get a demo." Oh, got a demo. Like, oh, he even teased the Endless Ocean name.
Mm-hmm.
He teased the name.
Did he do like a dolphin or something?
Yeah, the dolphin thing. But then he did the luminous dolphins.
Yeah.
He posted a GIF of it. Nobody caught that was the name until he's like, "Hey, by the way, luminous dolphins, Endless Ocean." So
yeah, bro's got like Shigeru Miyamoto in his back.
Yeah, dude. Well, according to him, he's Miyamoto. He's claimed he's Miyamoto twice now.
I know. I'm just
Hilarious.
He's got some blackmail on him, or he's got like he's got his phone number on speed dial. He's like, "Hey, day before." He's like, "All right, give me a hint."
Yeah. So as I'm reminded with another Direct, always trust the bird. Never doubt if he says it, because it hasn't been wrong. I don't know what else to say. Like,
I mean, it's more exciting now to see if he gets it wrong than right, because he knows he's gonna get it right. Like,
I think there's people that legitimately watch the Directs hoping that it's wrong.
Right.
I just want one thing to be wrong so we can be like, "Ha!" And he's just
You can never trust any rumors. They're all fake news.
The streak is broken.
Yeah, but his streak is impeccable over the last year. He's now gotten like 30+ things correct in a row. It's insane. So, and he doesn't just tease Direct. Sometimes he teases just things Nintendo's going to drop on Twitter. So
yeah,
I know some people though. Some people, before we get into the Direct itself, I do think that leaks like him kind of spoil things too much. How do you guys feel about that? Because for my money, normally he doesn't spoil like the biggest announcements, but this
Yeah.
is a partner showcase where maybe you don't know if anything's a big
And
announcement.
this is the thing about Piero, that I like how he shares information, but because he does it in a way that creates an anticipation rather than spoil something. He doesn't give you the entire name or the entire something. He'll give you a hint of something that kind of makes you think. You see people in the chat kind of just kind of trying to guess what it is, and it makes it. I think it makes it more exciting for us to expect that next event instead of just saying, "Oh yeah, this game and this game and this game is going to be there," or giving you a list of games. You know, he doesn't really spoil anything. He just kind of gives you a hint of what is going to be
Maybe
there.
he keeps things realistic versus all the predictions. Like it's like here's a realistic, like this is what it's going to be like, but I'm not going to tell you everything. Like he didn't tell us about Epic Mickey as an example.
He could have the entire thing, but he didn't. He just makes it exciting. So
he did do a lot more this time than he has for prior directs. But
there was
also
a lot.
Showcase.
He teased like 8 games.
Yeah, it was like 9 total.
Was it 9?
You could argue 10 if you count 2 Xbox games, but
yeah, after a point, I just
we didn't know how many Xbox. We didn't know. We just knew Xbox. We didn't know what.
Yeah.
Listen, it's a lot better than how it is in the Pokemon community because you have 2 really awful leakers. I mean, like I don't mind leaks because I don't care. But for people who like want to try and avoid that, you have Sarah VNet and you also have Centro Leaks, and they just straight up list it verbatim. Like, I mean, bullet point, like this is what's happening, and it's always right. It's like always like on the money. Like we already know like, what's happening. Pokemon name. Yeah.
Central Leaks, from what I understand, doesn't necessarily. I mean, they have sources, but most of what they share is just reposting from other places.
Yeah.
They're pretty good at reposting from credible places, but it's usually just reposting. So they're
Cerebi
not
is like the least trustworthy out of those. If you were to trust either of them, at least Central Leaks has like they're trying to go off of credible sources. But yeah, usually, but like when they find out info, they just bullet point it and say this is what it is. I did see that they started doing a thing where they made it so you have to subscribe to see the actual like leak post, so that could make it, that's a way of like censoring it. So it's like, oh, if you didn't want to see it, you can scroll by without getting accidentally
it's also
spoiled.
A way of just profiting off of
and then he makes money off of it, or whoever runs the page.
So like,
I was just
It was funny because Piero was like, he got stuck on the partner thing. Is Microsoft a partner? Is Xbox a partner? And I'm like, we just make a T-shirt out of it.
It's funny. Are you a partner?
You a partner?
Yeah.
I'm genuinely surprised, not to get already jump into the direct, but like I'm genuinely surprised we didn't get Jet Set. We got Grounded. I think that's what it's called. Grounded, right?
Yeah.
We got that before we got Jet Set Radio. I'm really genuinely surprised about that.
How are they related?
I just feel like because they're part of that Xbox, like they're all Xbox properties, and then I don't know. Jet Set feels like a way more like Nintendo.
Isn't that Sega
game?
Jet Set Radio.
Yeah. Am I thinking of the Hi-Fi Rush? Yeah. I'm thinking of Hi-Fi Rush.
Okay. Oh, all right. Well,
okay.
I see. I see why you mixed those up.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I meant Hi-Fi Rush. Sorry.
Well, according to Tom Henderson from Insider Gaming, Hi-Fi Rush is being saved for Switch 2, according to their sources.
Oh, okay.
Which
that's fair.
I mentioned that when it got announced because the other 2 games for Xbox, for those that didn't pay any attention beyond the direct today, was announced for PS5. Sea of Thieves and Hi-Fi Rush were both announced for PlayStation 5 today. And people were like, well, what's up with why aren't these on Switch, especially Hi-Fi Rush? And I'm like, if you actually paid attention, Hi-Fi Rush has only ever existed on Xbox Series and PC, meaning it was made on more modern hardware.
It's actually a more I didn't really look into it, but it's actually a more technically impressive game, and also it requires a higher frame rate because it's rhythm based.
Yes.
So it's
it's like a lot of us looked at the art style and we're like, oh, that would fit. Yeah, it would fit with the Nintendo ecosystem. You're right. But also it was made with powerful machines. So like I think that obviously, and now we have Tom Henderson. Yeah, Sea of Thieves too. Now Sea of Thieves kind of existed on Xbox.
Yeah, but it could run better, I guess is the main point I want.
But yeah, and they've made a lot of updates to that game since then.
Yeah, so it's probably good that it's on PS5, actually. That might be a good place to play it.
I mean, I think both of those games are going to end up on Switch 2 eventually anyways. It's just the thing's not here, and we'll save that for later.
Yeah. But to provide a little bit of a counter argument though,
sure.
Before all this like rumor stuff that led up to the direct, we had heard that in Australia, Hi-Fi Rush is rated for PS4 I think Xbox One. I want to double check that, but definitely PS4 and Switch. And so
Sure.
those are prior gen hardware, right? So
Yeah.
it could be the case that there is a prior gen version, and we did also see that data mine that had shirts that seemed to implicate like a Switch version, or maybe just a Sony version, a Nintendo version, and Microsoft. So Nintendo would still be Switch 2, right? If they still keep the red branding, then still could be. So I don't know. I'm a little.
Well,
maybe
porting the
there's
PS5 is probably a lot easier too. So like if there's a Switch
Oh, yeah.
version, it would be like it would take them time
Yeah.
to do it right.
Yeah, but
so.
if there's also a PS4 version in the works, that may be that's maybe there,
like
that is
last gen in
coming.
general, like it would that's probably taking a whole development cycle to take care of.
Yeah, so maybe we see it later this year or something.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, but there
I also one thing that makes me smile when Tom Henderson's put out there that hey, it's going to be on Switch 2. I'm like, cool, Microsoft's got dev kits. Love it. That's all I'm thinking. I love it. Microsoft's got dev kits. Phil Spencer, come on. Put one of those smug things out there where you accidentally say something you're not supposed to.
Oops. Oh, Phil.
He does that a lot.
Oh, Phil.
Hopefully they don't accidentally reveal Banjo-Kazooie coming to Switch 2.
Yeah. Oh, that would be
Right.
so
Oh, darn.
terrible.
By the way, that's
No,
totally
not
happening. By the way,
Banjo-Tooie, whatever will we
no, not
do?
Banjo.
No,
not
no,
Banjo-Tooie.
they're making a brand new one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that would be crazy.
Well, I mean, we don't know. I don't know if it's a
accidentally
remake.
have a Switch logo on an object in the background during the trailer or anything.
I don't know if we know what it is. I think maybe you guys heard something different, but something Banjo, like there's actually like a modern Banjo-Kazooie project that's in the works.
Phil Spencer has basically almost said outright that it's happening. He's like really danced around it, like wink, wink.
That thing's gonna sell more on Switch 2 than it's gonna be a sell on Xbox.
Oh yeah,
Bro,
Almost
absolutely.
Yeah.
guaranteed. Yeah,
and
easily.
then they're gonna make all the money. Xbox is gonna make all the money from it.
Well, I mean,
minus 30%.
Minus 30%.
Yeah, Nintendo still gets something,
Yes, of course.
and we win.
Yeah,
everybody wins.
What matters for us is the
Everybody
gamers
wins.
Exactly.
That's. Are we already in the partner showcase discussion?
Yeah,
Are
let's
we?
just go for
Okay,
it.
all right. So like, I just want to say like, there's a lot for me. I actually graded the partner showcase an A. Call me crazy, I know, but I think it's because I'm a '90s kid, and so as a '90s kid, I saw a whole bunch of awesome 3D platformers. Penny's Big Breakaway, Epic Mickey, Super Monkey Ball. So all those are really exciting to me. But then we see these Microsoft games, and then we see the Rare stuff. And so the Rare, when I heard the Killer Instinct music, I screamed.
Same.
Right?
Yeah.
I literally was like, "This is Rare Replay. We're getting Rare." Oh no,
That's what I
No,
thought.
but I would argue it's
But-
better.
Yeah.
Some people are complaining because
free.
we only got 5.
oh,
but-
free.
Yeah, free. But this,
Yeah,
I
that's
think
fair.
this implies there's more coming.
Yes,
Exactly.
exactly. Yes.
Mhm.
Like we had a sprinkle like of a couple rare games on NSO, and we're like, okay, yeah. But then also in Smash, whatever. And then, here's just a bunch that you didn't expect to get, and it's like, okay,
And,
all of
and
Rare. I'm of the opinion within like 5 years, all of Rare Replay is just going to be on NSO.
I got a prediction. You ready? You ready?
Yeah.
I predict that. I mean, okay, this is a tough prediction. It's subjective, but I predict that there's going to be a lot of debate in the future, and many are going to think that Xbox is Nintendo's best partner.
Their best.
could see
Actually,
it.
you know what? No, I take it back. Xbox will be Nintendo's best partner. Like,
I
will,
think it
like,
is.
Who
like,
is their
it's-
current best? Like Bandai Namco?
Might still be Xbox. Minecraft.
I mean, I
Bandai
think it's
Namco
company.
literally was the primary developer on Smash Bros. Like that's a pretty damn good partner.
I feel there's. I guess this is nuanced because, like, what do you define as best partner? Do you define it as software sales? Do you define it as high quality games? Do you define it as are they developing games for you? Because Bandai Namco literally has their own dedicated Nintendo studio, right? Like the Bandai Namco is almost like extended Nintendo, which is kind of crazy.
That's
But
crazy.
the thing about Xbox is interesting is that in a way it's
There's a
not
lot of
extended.
Bandai Namco games on Switch though. A lot.
Yeah, I mean, Bandai Namco is definitely a big deal. But I'm thinking, I mean, look, just hear me out for a second. You got things like Minecraft, right? But we're
Sure.
gonna have things like Call of Duty in the future.
Yeah.
And like if we're gonna get
Crazy
rare
that I
games,
have
like,
to give Microsoft credit for that.
well, yeah, well,
Yeah.
exactly, right. So if you have things like that, they have Blizzard, right? So like things
Dude,
like Overwatch,
Candy
for
Crush.
example.
Candy Crush. That's where you're hyping up Mike Candy Crush.
It's coming to Switch, okay?
It
All right?
probably will, but come on,
But
man.
I mean, what if we do open up Switch 2 with Sea of Thieves and Hi-Fi Rush? Those are two pretty cool games that I think people would like to see on Switch 2. You know,
Yeah.
and then so like
Yeah.
if all of a sudden we're gonna start to see like it's almost like kind of going back to what I was saying earlier, like as a 90s kid, like this is all exciting to me, not just because of what we saw, but also because of the implication, right? Like this partnership between Nintendo and Microsoft, and like just how well they're getting along. Like it's kind of like growing up, I always kind of wished that Nintendo would find a way to get Rare back in some way.
Yeah.
And because of where Microsoft is sort of pivoting to, it's kind of like we are.
Mm-hmm.
And so
That was my
that's just very
takeaway.
interesting to me. Exactly. Yeah.
Dude, if their
Yeah.
next game what's that game that Rare's working on, Ever something?
Ever.
God, it's that it had that deer image.
I have to look it up.
Not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
saw
remember
the
that.
image.
Everwild.
It's been a couple of years, huh?
Yeah, it's been a bit since we've seen Everwild.
Yeah.
If that game gets announced as coming to Switch 2, because it's not coming out this year, but if that game comes out and they say, hey, it's coming to Switch 2 along with Xbox, I'm gonna be like, okay, we got Rare back, baby. We're fully back. We're fully back in the fray now.
But I agree with Andre because I think that Microsoft is just winding up now. I think they are in a position to become Nintendo's biggest partner, and I think that of course with Call of Duty, you know, they just bought Activision Blizzard. Once they start operating on all these IPs and actually kind of bringing these games forward, right? They are going to become, I think, everybody's biggest partner right now, but Nintendo's best partner, you know? So I agree, man. I agree.
I'll look at this Everwild trailer. It looks pretty cool.
They're a Trojan horse. I think they're a Trojan horse because they want to sneak in Nintendo with their ninja suits and try to buy them out underneath them.
Yeah, look, the only other company, like I'm trying to think of what company would be on that level. I mean, Microsoft has so many studios. You know, if we still get the next Doom game as an example, because we got the prior two, but we don't know if we're going to get the next one. If we keep getting the Bethesda stuff, and like that's insane. If we get the next Skyrim, that would be insane. The next Elder Scrolls, I guess I should say,
Fallout.
not the next Skyrim. Yeah, like if we start getting that
that
stuff, like, and a lot of this will be on obviously Nintendo's next platform, but that would be insane. I kept thinking, like, what else could really compete with that? I'm like, well, no one. I mean, Ubisoft can give us all their games, but they don't output as many. You know, the only other company that's maybe got franchises that are even bigger, you could argue, would be Rockstar. And that would be really sweet if GTA 6 is coming to Switch 2. That would be big.
There was no way.
That would be pretty big, though.
It'd be
Like,
big.
It's the one audience that they haven't, like, if you think about all the sales they get, there's only one audience they're not getting sales from.
Mm-hmm.
Only one.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's even going to be possible. Don't ask me. I don't know what those crazy guys are thinking over there.
Yeah.
But you know, that's the thing. Like, that's the only other company I could really think of. I mean, maybe you can argue CD Projekt Red, but they don't put out new games often. It would be cool. I think it's a shoe-in we're going to get Cyberpunk, but that's obviously a game that's been out for a bit, and they've obviously had a lot of time to optimize and work on something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the question is, will we get the next one? Like, if it's a new Witcher game or whatever the heck they're working on next. Don't know. So, like, Microsoft, though, in the sheer number, like, for all the flack Microsoft gets, and yes, they bought their way in, but they bought themselves some high quality studios and games. And the fact that is leading towards some of these games coming to Nintendo that we wouldn't have gotten if they didn't buy these studios is pretty awesome. For us, it's awesome, by the way. I'm not saying it's awesome for all of gaming. I know people don't like purchasing and consolidations and stuff. I understand all that, but that's a whole business side of things.
Yeah.
But for us Nintendo fans, we might get Call of Duty this year, apparently on Switch, because it ain't gonna be Switch 2. It
might be a remaster.
It can't be a remaster, though. That's the problem. Did you see the details of the contract?
Right.
It's got to be the current. It's got to be the current Call of Duty. So whatever the new one is this year, it's got to be of all the same features.
Well, maybe they start development, and so that does it have to release, or do they have to?
The only thing I can think of that might get away with it is a Switch 2 is announced before the end of the year, and then they've got the okay from Nintendo that we can announce this for Switch 2 for launch or something like that. And delay it.
Or the rumors are wrong and Switch 2 is coming out this.
Okay, we'll get into that later.
They're probably not wrong, but
you never know.
It's coming out this year. It's wrong.
All right, so getting back into this stuff, anyone else have like some takeaways, negative or positive, from this partner direct?
I think trust. I give it a 7 out of 10, which is still like a B kind of. Really, it's not that bad. It's good.
It's a C, but
Um,
It's a C in the US.
So Monster Hunter Stories.
I think it's a B in Canada, isn't it?
That game was it. What was in I think I used to change my C's to a B when I was in school. So to me,
okay.
There you go. There you go.
So Monster Hunter Stories HD. That was a surprise for me because I've been wanting to play that game on bigger screen. Right, love that game. South Park looks hilarious. Can't wait to play that one. Fantasy Life October 10th. Really? I thought they said summer. Right? Idiot. Anyway, the rare games were awesome. Epic. I just noticed that there were a lot of remixes and remasters also from third parties, right? And that's just another indication that they're cooking for Nintendo Switch 2 for the next generation. So I was just happy to see remakes and remasters coming to Switch, just like Nintendo was doing previously. So Switch 2, baby, 2024.
Yeah, I want to circle back to Rare, if that's all right. Just a little bit. I
love how it disconnects your head from your body. Every time it disconnects your head. So for the audio listeners, there's this thing when you're streaming from a Mac that you can make all these different effects happen, and every time Mike makes one happen, it literally like cuts his head out.
It decapitates me.
Anyways,
I'll keep him safe. But I just want to make a quick point, because we're talking about like kind of Rare in a way, almost kind of coming back to us because of this relationship Nintendo and Microsoft have, and so kind of the thought or like across people's minds, well, yeah, sure, but Rare sucks now, and I'm not sure if that's a fair statement because Sea of Thieves has come out, and if you look at Metacritic, it's not amazing, but Nate, as you said, it's been updated.
Yeah, it didn't have much of an end game when it came. That was like the big thing. Is like you got to the end and there was nothing to do in this MMO. And you're like, what are we doing? And by the way, that's very common in all MMOs when they come out. The end game's kind of like nothing.
Yeah, it's a game that's built and grown over time, right? And so what's interesting though is that now that we're gonna get the PS5 version in April, that's gonna be an interesting opportunity to kind of like have like critics
updated
go back.
Reviews.
Exactly, right. And so if it comes out and it's like an 8 or 9 out of 10 kind of game. That I think that speaks well. I mean, you could already play the game yourself and decide, right? But if Sea of Thieves is a good game and this other game they're working on, it looks kind of ambitious. This
Everwild
thing,
yeah, that's why it's been a bit, but they're still working on it. It's been announced, but they're waiting for the right time.
So is this endless ocean thing? Is this like an open ocean kind of multiplayer kind of game?
I haven't played Endless Ocean on the Wii. I don't think it's actually open. I don't know if it's open world.
Yeah, this one looks like it's supposed to be kind of like open multiplayer or whatever. The old ones were more. The only reason I even know about Endless Ocean is because I watched Game Grumps growing up. But the old ones used to be you would pick a mission and you swim around the ocean. There was like an objective, and you went and took pictures of the whale or the shark or whatever, or you'd explore like an undersea cavern or a ruin. Like it was stuff like that. And I assume it's going to be more of that. But then I guess, I mean, the 30-person multiplayer was crazy. I was like, what's going on here? We got a Fortnite Battle Royale in the water. That's crazy. Right? Could make for a good stream. Who knows?
Yeah, no, for sure.
But
sick party.
If Nintendo's online can handle 30 people at a time.
That's what I was thinking too.
I mean,
yeah, right.
But I mean, Fortnite, I guess that they probably run on Epic servers or something.
Yeah, that's probably not them. They kind of
do
that.
I'll just want to read the Endless Ocean's description on the website.
Sure.
So it says, dive in and survey a mysterious underwater world. Take a deep breath and plunge into this veiled sea, an unexplored region with discoveries that change with each dive. Encounter and learn about over 500 species of marine life, some of which are presumed extinct or even mythical. What will you find on your undersea journey? Hang out and explore together in shared expeditions of up to 30 players online. So I'll say, if you go to the part where it says an unexplored region with discoveries that change with each dive, that feels like an implied mission-based thing. So
that's how it was in the last one.
Yeah, and so that doesn't necessarily mean that the maps are small, right? You play like a game like Legends Arceus, for example. The map, they're maps, but they're big maps. Like they're kind of like smaller, contained like mini worlds. They're probably just large areas that you can explore by a mission. But yeah, it's a giant open Not
Toilet.
okay. I don't want to use the word open. It's a big
Nope. So world
sort
said
of
it.
water exploration
It's all right.
game.
Cat's out the bag. You said
Look,
it.
people
So
who played Endless
play 'em in
Ocean
the- play 'em in
love
the chat.
Endless Ocean. It's just sort of a relaxing game to play. Like it's not something that makes you panic or anything, and it's gorgeous. At least it was way back on Wii. Now you have a brand new one in HD. Like that's already going to make people just like have a lot of fun, just exploring and taking the photos. And hey, they said mythical creatures, so
and
things
prehistoric ones. It's so cool.
and prehistoric. So maybe there's a mission where maybe it's not so calming because it's a megalodon or something. But
But I mean, I don't think it's I don't know. I think the idea is just all chill. You just find cool
yeah,
creatures
and you just chill with other players and have fun and explore and find things. And look, I mean, I'm all for these kind of games. They're like a little calming. Open. Maybe look at this more like. You know what genre of games is really popular we don't talk a lot about, and that's walking simulators. They're very, very popular, but they're also usually not super stressful. It's just, you do a few tasks, there's some gaming things in it, but for the most part, you're just taking in the world and just enjoying. And that's kind of what this game sort of is before the ocean. And the ocean world's awesome. Like a lot of us grew up loving ocean animals because you see all these cool things on TV. But even on my Mac, when it goes to like the splash screen, some of my favorite ones are when it's the Apple showing the footage of the whales and all the stuff in that water. I'm like, dude, this is sweet.
It might be a good game in VR. Endless Ocean.
Endless Ocean. Yeah, Endless Ocean would be great.
Wait, that's actually really base. That would be a fantastic VR.
That's for the next one, baby. We'll see.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is,
they probably would just do Endless Ocean VR. Do like it'd be its own.
oh yeah,
thing.
switch you up.
Endless Ocean
Labo VR.
Luminous
There we go.
HDR VR.
Watch. Little do we know, it already comes with it.
Isn't there
Labo
isn't
VR
there
mode,
a
maybe?
rumor that the Switch 2 is supposed to have like kind of like not Google Glass, was it like Google Cardboard-esque VR capabilities where you could just like
Well,
throw
we could save that for the topic, or we could just skip on.
Or we could go back
I'm
to
sorry, I
2016.
just
We could also go back to
sparked when I
2016
said it.
where Switch was also rumored to have a VR headset. So
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
We
we
can also go back to Rare, but
the 90s.
I mean, also we could just go with the fact that technically Switch already has a VR headset. It's literally called Labo. It exists. It's already out there.
but
They already released it.
I just want to clarify that back in
About Virtual Boy?
2016, there were rumors talking about like
there was.
literally Switch itself being like a VR
a
capable,
VR thing. Yeah.
not Labo, like out of the box. Like that was a
Yeah.
big gimmick.
Yeah.
What about the Nintendo On?
Oh, here we go.
You guys remember that?
So,
crazy.
as I said,
Was
I
that
really,
the one like the weird headset that was okay?
Yeah, that trailer
Yeah,
that dropped
yeah,
like what
yeah.
10, 15 years ago? How long ago
Yeah.
was that?
Was this before Nintendo Revolution or after?
It was in the lead up to the Revolution.
So I think I
Yes.
remember like a
We
fake
thought it might
Metroid
be.
trailer. It looked really cool back in the day. Yeah.
really, really good job on that trailer. So I really enjoyed this partner showcase. It's weird when I see the negative reaction. I think people just want things that they were never realistic in this. And I understand you can argue it's reliant on a bunch of remasters and old games, and I get that. We're at the end of a generation. This is just kind of what happens. And these are third parties, and these are what the third parties have planned for, supposedly the first half of 2024. Obviously, some of these games are further out. But I mean, look, we had some cool stuff. We had the NSO shadow drops, obviously, of all those rare games. That was really nice. They just announced them. They're here. You can go play them right now. Technically Mother 3 in Japan on NSO, which all of us can play because it's region free. You can go download the Japanese NSO app if you want, but
didn't know that.
yeah, so you can technically go play it if you could just deal with the Japanese stuff.
But it won't be translated, yeah.
There's
translator.
there's also
Right there.
so other stuff I found really exciting in here. I was a huge fan of Epic Mickey, so Epic Mickey rebrushed. Like, I don't know if it fixed all the control issues because that was like the big thing that we had back in the day. But if they did, then dude, I am all about maybe even replaying that game. And you guys know I don't replay games much. I was already a big fan of Unicorn Overlord, so that at least what it looks like. I haven't played the demo yet, but just a couple other things that I really thought stood out about this, dude. I know I might just play it on Game Pass. I don't know, but another Crab's Treasure. The Switch version
that was
looks
my
incredible.
sleeper pick? Well,
That was all
like
Switch footage because they also dropped a trailer in general for other platforms. That was very clearly Switch footage, and it still looks incredible.
It might
Yeah,
be it might be a top 5 game for me from that presentation.
Yeah,
It's a
I mean,
Souls-like game.
a Souls-like crab game
Heck,
where
Yeah,
your goal is to get your
Dude,
shell
no.
back, and you're literally listening to a kid because that's what you are. You're playing a kid. Like this is awesome. And like it kind of like maybe I like it so much because I grew up, with obviously like the Finding Nemos and the Little Mermaid stuff, and here we are. We're just adventuring through the ocean trying to get our damn shell back. And the game looks great. The gameplay looks good. The storytelling, dude, some of the unique boss fights it looks like it has, and it's Souls-like, so it's apparently going to be very difficult in a game that doesn't look like it should be difficult. So I'm very that's one that I really am excited for from here. And then another one that two more I want to bring up. South Park Snow Days looked incredible the whole time. Still looks incredible. All those South Park games have been really good, so I'm sure that game's going to be great. And then the one that really caught me was that they're bringing classic Battlefront back.
That
With the
looks
full 64 player online multiplayer.
Let me say something. So on my live stream Tuesday night, Brandon, my co-host, was like, someone in our chat was like, "Hey, do you think it'd be a Star Wars game?" And Brandon's like, "Oh, maybe they'll, remaster the classic Battlefront." And literally, that is what they did. So you're hearing it here. If you haven't heard it already from me, Brandon is Pioro.
It's got new stuff too. Is the thing. I was like, what in the world? Like, this is so sick. I'm just so excited for that. That's probably my most excited pick from the whole thing. I was like, dude, this looks sick. Yeah. I just wish they would put, because I think that's coming to PC as well. I'm glad that we're coming back to our roots of the like that genre of like first person shooter, or just shooter, I guess just to say, with like you have the popularity of Helldivers, where it's like the collective battle, and it's not just like the 1v1s anymore, like the corridor shooters. Like those are great and they have their audience, it's fine. But I always love those big, warfront, you and a collective group of people, are fighting against a cause. That's always been, and that's my shit. So I'm glad to see that a resurgence of that like gaming category, both in Helldivers and now with the remastering of Battlefront 2, especially Galactic Conquest. That's the best game mode in that whole. That's a great game mode.
It's a collection of games, right? Not just one.
Yeah, it's the first and second one. Those are the only two that came out on the place. Like it was like back in the day, like PlayStation 2, Xbox.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And they didn't come out on GameCube, but they had a third. I guess what's happening is they maybe are including content that was going to be in the potential third one, because they actually had it like 90% ready. Yeah. And I think, but they didn't release it because it came out, or like it got canceled around the time that the Disney acquisition happened. So then like Lucasfilms was no longer, so everything got reprioritized, and then the project got dropped, even though it was like mostly done. So honestly, it actually, now that I'm saying it out loud, it kind of doesn't surprise me that they are adding all these new maps, because I said there's new maps, there's Kid Fisto, there's like new characters and all these other things. So it's like, oh, that's probably all the shit that they were gonna put in Star Wars Battlefront 3, and now they're adding it into this remaster collection, which makes sense. I mean, if it's all there, and 10 years late, but hey, I'll take it.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
My game of the night is Sukia game, the Shadow Drop DLC.
Suika.
Is it Sukia?
Nice.
Suika.
The fruit game, right? That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
The fruit game.
Oh, that's why I don't remember
You
the
mean a
name.
multiplayer mode they're adding? Hell yeah.
Yeah, multiplayer.
Dude,
It's dumb that it's only local right now, but yeah.
Oh, I know, it needs to be online. They make it online, they're taking that game to the next level.
I'm taking a tournament. I'm making a tournament out of that if it goes online. Like 100%.
Yeah,
I think I'm
the
sleeping
game
on
is
that game.
stupidly addicting, and
Yeah,
you all of a sudden add multiplayer. Oh man,
That's crazy, man.
yeah. I'm just glad to see them like recognize that, like, hey, this is like really what the next step needs to be. Now you need to get it online, because you get it online and you might shoot up those Steam charts. I'm telling you. All right, Eric, do you have any thoughts on it? I know you got to watch the whole thing once you got to my house.
Yeah, work was crazy, so I didn't get a chance to watch it. No, there was a couple games that looked pretty interesting. I know one of them that we didn't mention was Pepper Grinder. That one looked pretty good.
Demo out now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
What
reminded me of
is- what is that?
Celeste a little bit.
World of Goo 2 World of Goo 2 looked like an interesting concept. I don't think I ever actually saw the first one, so that one kind of was kind of cool.
The game that I really like from that studio is the what is it, the fireplace one? I forget what that one was called.
The last
I-
campfire.
Oh yeah,
let me look it up. Hang on.
yeah, I know what you're talking about. I remember. Yeah, well, what kind of blows my mind is this is a Switch 2 Switch exclusive.
Little Inferno. That was what it was called.
Right.
That was crazy back in the day. Sorry, continue. That was just what reminded that. And also, I didn't mean to cut Eric off. Eric, if you want to
No, you're good. And then I'm surprised you were yelling about it earlier. You never said anything about Super Monkey Ball. I mean,
that is really cool that it's a sequel. Like it's its own. It's a new game.
New Monkey Ball.
is.
Here we go.
New Monkey Ball. It's not a remaster. You have mass multiplayer. It looks great. It looks fantastic.
See all those balls rolling like
Oh,
crazy.
yeah. That was crazy. So I'm excited for that. That's gonna be good. And I think that'll make really good fun, like multiplayer fun.
Yeah.
Especially. So
This
Yeah.
direct just kind of for me just highlights the power of opinions
Mhm.
because I came out from this partner showcase thinking, man, this is like the best partner showcase ever, and not a lot of people agree.
well, they just it's not because they think it's a bad partner or it was a
Oh,
bad
some
partner
people
showcase,
think
they
it's
thought it was
terrible.
a bad direct. Like
No, a
to be
lot of people
honest.
think it's terrible. A lot of people think it's terrible.
But it's because their expectations were already set high, and they went into it with a bad attitude, thinking that it was not a full direct already. So,
Well,
there's
happens
that
every time.
Yeah, so there's some of that, yes, where people want things that aren't possible in it. I also, just based on a few conversations I had today, where people weren't really trying to shit on it, they were just like, "This direct was horrible for me." When it comes to, I don't know if you guys do this, but like as a content creator, I consider other tastes beyond my own. So like if I think a game looks high quality and looks really good, even if it's not for me, I can be like, yeah, that's a really nice addition to this. I can see where people are going to really play that, because there are games in here that I'm not going to play that I think look incredible. And I think that might be a content creator mentality, because a lot of the gamers are like, if there's not any game in here I want to play, it's a shit direct.
yeah.
Yeah.
Agree.
And I kept thinking, if I wasn't a content creator, would I only just care about my own taste? And then I'd be like, oh yeah, this direct kind of sucked. There was nothing in it for me. But there was stuff for me. But like if there wasn't, I'd be like, all right.
Yeah, it's interesting. So Nishquick's been on here a few times, right?
Yeah.
And he was saying, telling me that like he didn't like the direct because it was a whole bunch of it didn't have RPGs. Like he was arguing, because I made a video where I was arguing that this is the best partner showcase yet, right? Which I don't think is saying a lot, because partner showcases in general are kind of mid. There might be one or two big things, and to me here there is like 8 or 9 things that I'm like, I feel like I need to play. But like, from like Nishwick's perspective,
I think the one.
Well, let me finish my point. So like, from Nishwick's perspective, right? The Nintendo Direct mini partner showcase from summer 2022, where they showed off Nier Automata, right, and the Persona games, like that was a bigger deal. And it's interesting because I think those were pretty big deal announcements, but they also were mostly ports, right? I look at this partner showcase and I'm thinking, okay, well, Monkey Ball's a brand new game. Penny's Big Breakaway is a brand new game, right?
Ocean's brand new,
and that's a Nintendo published title. Like that's not even like just a third party thing. That is a Nintendo IP. It's just made by a third party developer. So I don't know. Like to me, it's cool, but I guess if you're a big RPG fan, I guess there isn't a lot of big RPGs here. There is Overlord Unicorn, which that looks pretty cool.
It does look cool.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like a mix of RPG and strategy, which is fine.
Sure. Yeah.
I have to play the demo to really.
I say it's HD 2D Fire Emblem. Like that's how it kind of looks to me.
I had to play the demo, and I think I'll finally have clarity on exactly how that gameplay works once I get the demo going.
Yeah. There is something else though that I think is going into the negativity. Oh, there's a lot of things we could continue on, but just one of many things is that some people might have preferred the Japanese partner showcase because it had several announcements there that were not in this one. But on the flip side, also there were several announcements in this one that weren't in the Japanese one. Like there was no Microsoft stuff in the partner showcase in Japan. But there was a few interesting things I saw in the Japanese showcase. So there's this game called Renatus. It kind of gives me a little bit. It almost looks a little bit like Astral Chain, like visually. But it's like it's an action game that it's super colorful, visually pleasing. That it's very fast paced, and so that game looks kind of cool. I kind of wish that was coming over to Switch here in the States. Now, obviously, I could probably still play it if I use a Japanese account here because we're not region locked, but it's not localized, right? And so that does make a difference to me. There's this other weird game where they literally had like a guitar peripheral, like where you can play like complex like guitar stuff.
Guitar Hero's
just a
back.
weird.
We're so back.
It's like beyond Guitar Hero. It makes Guitar Hero look like but a guitar baby game.
Yeah.
But the real big one is the Mother 3 NSO release in Japan. And I thought about it for a moment, though. That doesn't require a lot of work because that's just already an existing version of the game Nintendo has. They already officially released. We didn't get it here. It hasn't been localized. So, they still haven't done it. So that's why it's not here, I guess. You're showing off Renatus.
This is Renatus. I wanted to check it out.
Oh, I see.
It looks amazing. It's probably gonna lag a little bit because stream.
I'm getting Persona vibes.
Yeah, wait till you see the gameplay. It's gonna pop in soon.
Yeah.
This looks game.
Man, this looks really good. Whoa.
Wait till the combat comes in. Like, yeah, it's like those are cutscenes. The cutscenes look pretty cool, right?
But like even the gameplay like doesn't look too bad.
Yeah. Well, it hasn't even like they're just doing a couple walking. Like it's gonna pick up here in a moment.
Yeah.
Like
hey.
Yeah. This looks
There
very
we go.
Persona-esque.
Dude, this needs to come west.
Yeah. Exactly. But so Renatus is like this pretty hype game that's coming out over there that
damn.
This could be one of the better Switch games of this year. That's how good it looks to me.
Right.
Damn. Coming out in July too. Damn. Damn.
Eventually, might get a port. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
That is.
I mean, it's already
awesome.
on Switch, so it wouldn't be a port. It would just be
translation. Localized.
Sure. Yeah.
Sure.
A dub.
And I only heard about the Mother 3 stuff because that's all people were talking about, and I was like, well, I mean,
I heard about the Mother 3 thing, so I just decided to just watch the Japan Direct. And just kind of skim through, and so I saw several things, so that's why I brought it up.
Nice.
I'm not gonna lie. There was a point in the Direct. Speaking of skipping through, I was like watching it. I was like, man, sometimes I wish these things were I could just skip them, and I was like, I can. This one's just a video. It's not live.
Yeah,
I just skipped like one of like the ones that looked really. I don't know. I just was not interested in it. I don't remember which one, but I just went. I just hit the little 30-second. And I was like, oh yeah, now we're at the good stuff. Monkey ball.
Monkey ball.
Yeah. But yeah, that's. I mean, I'm trying to think if there's any other like titles we didn't mention.
Like, is there anything that stands out to you, Steve?
Yeah, Steve.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll start from the top actually. Pentiment 1. They showed that in the sizzle. They didn't show it in the main part, but I have that downloaded on Game Pass, and I have not played it because I have a big backlog. But I think it's a good fit for Switch. It's not an exclusive that people are buying an Xbox for. So I think it was a good move for them to test their luck with the Switch's, massive install base. So good move there. Pepper Grinder, I agree. It looks like Celeste. It's by Devolver Digital. I like a lot of the stuff they've done.
Who doesn't? They make great stuff.
I haven't heard about that, but I'll wait till you're done. I'll wait till you're done.
Eric, you interrupted someone?
I know. I'm
talking too much. Shut up.
I'm sorry.
Shin Megami Tensei, Vengeance. So I have the game, and I also have it still sealed. And I read on Nintendo Life that apparently there's not going to be any way to play the new content unless you buy the game. Like they're not going to be selling standalone DLC. So that's unfortunate. I don't think I'll double dip since I haven't even played the first one. Epic Mickey, played that on the Wii back in the day. I don't think I would pick it up on Switch, but depending on how the reviews are, I may once it goes down in price. But I am curious how the resolution and frame rate is going to be on Switch compared to, say, PS5 or the Series. Let's see, Battlefront. So that's
Looks
exciting.
great.
I played that back in the day. I think
Mhm.
a lot of us did.
Oh, yeah.
Spire's handling the development for the release, and I did hear they did an
Ooh.
excellent job on the Tomb Raider 1 through 3 remaster. So that's exciting. Again, I want to see how that runs on Switch because that might be a game that could be better suited elsewhere for now until Switch 2, unfortunately. The Ender Magnolia, guys. Have you guys played Ender Lilies?
No, I
The
didn't.
first
No,
game?
but that
I
I
was a
thought
game
the
that really stood
Magnolia
out
one
to
looked
me.
really interesting.
Yeah,
and
it's
I've never played the
sequel.
first.
Great game,
Yeah.
great Metroidvanias. I have it. I picked it up from Play Asia, the physical copy. So I was very excited actually to see that. I wasn't expecting that. That was a big surprise for me. Outside of
Is
that,
Ender
Monkey
Lilies
Ball,
on Switch?
guys. What's that?
Is Ender Lilies on Switch?
Yeah, it's on Switch. Monkey Ball. So I'm a big Monkey Ball fan. Been
Mhm.
playing this since it came out on GameCube. I had it pre-ordered back in the day when I was in high school. That long
Oh,
ago,
yeah.
man. Big Monkey Ball fan. Just absolutely love that game. But
So
again, I'm a
good.
little concerned because I saw I'm concerned, but I'm excited because I saw that multiplayer. I was like, that's crazy. How's the Switch running that?
Yeah,
I mean, it's Monkey Ball, so
yeah.
I don't-
yeah, I
Maybe
guess
it
like the
runs Fall
Tetris
Guys
99
and everything.
kind of thing. So
Yeah.
Right. So that would be interesting. I will pick that up. I don't know if I'll pick it up on day one because I swear to you, as soon as I buy Monkey Ball, I see like Wario64 on Twitter post that it's like half price. And then like a couple weeks later, you pick it
Yeah.
up for like 10, 15 bucks. I'm like, damn,
Yeah.
why'd I buy this day one,
Yeah.
man?
Yep.
The crab game, you guys talked about it a little bit, but that's pretty wild. Like a Souls like game where you control a crab, and the premise is so weird that I'm interested. Like I definitely actually like want to play that game. That is very, very odd. And all I could think is
It's odd and wonky in almost all the right ways.
Exactly.
I know, and I really want there to be a giant enemy crab just because of E3 back in the day.
Oh, there will be. I'm sure. I'm sure.
Penny's Big Breakaway, I was very excited that got shadow dropped. And I was debating, I'm like, oh, do I want to try Contra first or play Penny? And I decided do Contra first because it'll be quicker, of course. So I will be playing that soon. Probably pick it up tomorrow. And then those rare games, like Andres, like you mentioned, man, that is really exciting because all those games, like all the games I know, and I actually have, fond memories of all of them. I actually own all of these games physically on the shelf behind me. RC Pro Am, we played that a ton growing up as kids. Blast Core, we rented that so many times at Blockbuster. So many. Great game. But the most exciting part is what's to come. Because it did feel like, holy shit, man, we're getting Rare back. Like Banjo was in Smash. That was a big deal.
Yep.
GoldenEye, coming to the NSO. That was a big deal. There's stuff happening that really makes me think that, like you had mentioned earlier as well, about Microsoft being, the biggest developer, right? The biggest partner to the Switch. And Mike, you mentioned the same thing. And you even said, well, yeah, I mean, PlayStation as well. And when you think about it, and you look at all the developers underneath the Microsoft umbrella, it's probably going to go down that way. I mean, how can they not be the biggest partner to everybody? So for me, I think for all of us, for gamers, this is a big win. I mean, I have an Xbox, right? It gets played the least. Yeah, I'm not going to lie, but I have one. I support it. And, honestly, would I love it if I could just play Microsoft games on Switch or PlayStation? Absolutely. And it really annoys me that the buttons are freaking backwards on an Xbox controller compared to PlayStation and Switch. I can't tell you how many times I press the back button when I'm trying to press the other button. It's a little thing, but it's frustrating when you got to remember so many damn controls and you're playing all these different consoles.
Yeah, it was hard for me to go back to when I was playing Spider-Man to go back to pressing the A over here instead of the X or the the bottom one for select.
Yeah. Why can't it just be uniformed, you know?
Yeah.
I don't understand that. But guys, overall, I thought it was a good direct for where we're at in the Switch life cycle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad. Part of me is very glad that we didn't walk away and say that was the best ever direct. And I don't mean just partner, because I think that's pretty debatable that it actually might be the best partner direct, like you said, Andres. I think that makes sense. But at the same time, I didn't want to be blown away. Because if I'm blown away, if we're all blown away, what does that mean?
Means we have to wait more for Switch 2.
Exactly.
Yup.
So this was perfect. Right where it was at. There's games on there I am legit gonna buy. And so yeah. And I think the biggest thing was the rare thing. That excites me the most, because we walk away from that knowing that there's good things to come there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would agree.
Yeah.
I think Kid and Krista said it the best on their pod. Oh no, they were on the Nintendo, and they were saying
Nintendo podcast. Yeah.
they're just it really feels like Nintendo is like cleaning house. This is like the last little bits. Everything that was like would have been in a regular direct, they tweeted it out. Like what do they call that day? Like the direct on Twitter or something like that.
Direct. Yeah, X Direct.
Yeah. The X Direct. And so there was that, and then and now we have all this, and so it's like, I don't know, it's like this, it feels like now the stage is set and we're all just holding our breath until it finally happens. Do I think we're gonna get like Switch 2? I don't, the debate, we'll cut the end of the podcast, but yeah, that's just feel where that's what the vibe I get now from Nintendo is like the stage is set for the next thing, because we have nothing past the summer, like not a little bit. You know,
They can do something to put a cherry on top. They can announce. They could just tweet the release date for
what I am praying for. And maybe this is copium. I want that Switch drop on March, and I want to be at PAX East and demoing it. That would be sick. That would be really sick. I don't think that's gonna happen, but you know, that could be cool. Anyways,
that would be sick. Cool.
Yeah. So my gripe, I didn't even realize I had it until Thunder Steve said that Devolver Digital, because my biggest hope was to see the Plucky Squire in it. But they did actually come back and drop gameplay on Twitter. Devolver did today.
Dropped. It's part of that IGN. IGN's doing something.
IGN's got like a
I don't know, but
FanFest thing.
I watched it. Holy Christ, this game looks good.
Does look good. Damn good.
Yeah.
I was hoping for a freaking release date, but they still didn't give me one. So I'm bummed that wasn't in the direct. But I'm only partially bummed because I got to see way more of it than I would have if it was in the direct.
Also, without a release date, there's a
3.5, 4. Yeah.
Just an outside shot. A future direct could have a release date for it. Maybe. Probably going to be Summer Game Fest is probably where they'll drop the release date. To be fair,
yeah.
That's where they was originally showing off. The Plucky Squire.
Okay.
It's coming to Switch.
Andres, go look up that gameplay trailer. Holy crap, it is good. The one
one indie game I really want to see, and I was hoping would have been there, and we haven't heard from it for a while, is Mina the Hollower. You guys remember that?
What did it say that again?
It's by Yacht Club. You know, the guys make Shovel Knight. It's called Mina the Hollower. This game looks badass. Like seriously, it gives me Link's Awakening vibes. But I remember reading about it, watching the trailer, and they're trying to combine like multiple different classic games into a modern day game. And I forget what the other ones were. I know they said Link's Awakening was an inspiration, but there's a few others.
Yeah.
And they're all games that I guarantee all of us have played and enjoy. The game is going to be probably really, really good.
I like the character.
Did you mention? I'm sorry, I tuned out for a little while, right? But the Plucky Squire, like this reminds me of like a Link Between Worlds, basically.
Yeah,
it's got those vibes.
A little bit of Odyssey and
Well, no, but what I mean by a Link Between Worlds is the Link Between Worlds is a game where it's a 2D Zelda game, but it also it kind of plays a little bit with 3D because you can merge into walls as like a 2D image moving around them, and so that's there's a lot of that. It feels like an expanded. It feels like they played a Link Between Worlds. They're like, you know what? Let's make this into something even bigger. It's pretty cool.
It's very unique.
All right. Well, I think we can kind of wrap that up. Any final thoughts? You know what? Let's just go around. I know some of us gave some grades. What would you guys grade this thing on? Let's use the American scale because that's the scale I know, but I've been told it's actually different in Canada. I was about to say North American scale, but their scale is actually different. So the A, B, C, D, F. Where are we putting her in there? Thunder, Steve, let's start with you.
B. Very solid B.
For the lamb.
Yeah, B is where I'm at with that. That's about right. I'm not like blown away, but it was pretty solid for my low expectations. So.
Eric.
Yeah, I'm right there with him.
All right. Mike.
C plus, closer to B.
Mike, it's okay to be like the rest of us. So you don't have to be different.
One of us.
All right, B minus.
There you go.
B minus. And Andres, I know you said A, right?
Still stand by it. I don't see how they could have had a better partner showcase.
I think to argue with that, I think a better part of showcase was the one where Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope was there. Persona 3, Persona at the end. We rewatched it before this one came out.
Sure.
Wow, this one was a good one. Persona. It was Mario plus Rabbids, and I think there was another game that was really, really good.
Yeah, I mean those are definitely some. That's a pretty good one. My argument is just that this had more new original games coming to Switch that were pushing the hardware. So, but if you're more of a platformer guy, I think you'll like this one. If you're more of an RPG guy, you'll like the other one. So I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure pushing the hardware is the right term because I don't think this is going to make any sales on the hardware.
Well, I mean, I look at games like for example, Grounded. That's pushing. I would say that's pushing Switch hardware, right? You look at
Grounded is for sure.
Yeah.
But I would
say.
Yeah, of course it's on Xbox.
Sure,
it's an Xbox game.
It's on Game Pass.
Yeah, of course it is.
But I'm just talking about.
I don't know if you knew all 4 Xbox games announced coming to other platforms today are on Game Pass and Xbox. They are literally Xbox games.
Yeah.
But there are other games I thought were kind of good looking games for Switch, like the Other Crab's Treasure, right?
That one, the Switch version actually does look pretty good. Yeah.
I mean, Endless Ocean is still a brand new Nintendo game, right? And I think that looks pretty good as well. So those are just some examples.
Okay. Well, you guys already know my grade. It's a B. It is what it is. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't like the best partner showcase, in my opinion, for my taste, but there was a lot of good in there. And I was going into this expecting it to be like a C. And that's even with Pioro's leaks. I'm like, all right, this will be like a C. Like the Endless Ocean thing, I thought was just going to be like a port remaster. When it was a brand new game, I'm like, wait,
that was really cool. I was like,
the online really.
And I'm glad that he didn't specifically clarify that it was new, and that so my expectation was like, oh, this is really cool. We're getting that. Oh, wait a second, it's new. This is sweet. This was awesome. All right. So that wasn't the only piece of Nintendo stuff that happened this week, because the day after they announced this dang thing, they also announced, so I should say the Pokemon company did, a Pokemon Presents for next week. Oh man, the worst kept secret in gaming. Pokemon Day has a Pokemon Presents. Who knew? It's almost like this happens every year.
They announced it at 3 o'clock in the morning. I was still up like at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, it was like midnight. I don't know. It was weird. Yeah. But look, the Pokemon Presents every year is usually where they talk about things that aren't just games. They do go into some more general Pokemon stuff, but it also is where they end up revealing mostly what the games are and what their slated games are going to be for the given year. Occasionally they'll announce something a bit later, like they did last year when they dropped actual news in a direct. That was really shocking. So I don't know, but they do tend to announce, like, especially if it's going to be a mainline game or a remake of a mainline game, it's almost always announced here. So the question is, what the hell do you guys think is going to happen? And what do you want to happen? And then there's what you think will actually happen, because those could be two different things.
I will take the reins here as the resident Pokemon
expert.
community guy. Yeah. Okay, so I'll start with what I want to happen. What I would like to happen is for them to cool their jets and we get more like spin-off games.
Mhm.
And we maybe like a mystery dungeon, a Poke Park 3, something along those lines would be refreshing and nice. What I think is going to actually happen, especially after the most recent Centro leaks, that could be fabricated, but we seem to have gotten chibi leaks of Gen 5 made by Ilka. So, and I think that might be what we're getting is another Ilka game of Generation 5. They could be totally fabricated, but I definitely think we're gonna get some game, whether it's a generational remake, whether it's Let's Go. Honestly, Let's Go is probably is another likely one I could see, like Let's Go Johto or something along those lines. But that we're gonna get something, and honestly, it's like as a Pokemon fan, I have a bit of fatigue with it just because again, Scarlet and Violet was like the first Pokemon game to come out with like generally negative press reception. I was pitching a video essay about this, about the Pokemon machine. I'm gonna write at some point to my friends, and we were debating about points and stuff like that. And it's just like I just hope that they don't go too overboard with it, or if they do continue this cycle, that they start dedicating more of their resources, which I know the Pokemon Company is technically separate from Game Freak, but it's difficult to watch. And I know, and I think the Pokemon Day, though, I think the thing that we're probably gonna get is my bet. If I was betting man, Gen 5 remakes or the Let's Go whatever. So, anyways, it's not to go too much on.
You want ready for me to throw some fire?
Throw some fire.
All right, so this is what's gonna happen. Game Freak is gonna do what they do and follow the exact same pattern. They're super predictable pattern.
Yeah.
Except if you go back to the pattern situation, what it would suggest potentially is, we're probably gonna get a chibi bogus remake that we're gonna be pissed about. Some people are gonna enjoy it, and it's gonna sell like 10 to 15 million copies. Let me finish my point. Let me finish my point.
My bad.
But just like when they
Don't
announced
worry.
Brilliant
I'll
Diamond
mute
Shining
them.
Pearl, Legends came out a couple months later. So I think it makes a lot of sense to do it again. Give us like a Ilka Pokemon remake, and then have Legends come out a few months later, which, if reports are true, lines up for that early Switch 2 launch. So I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah, no, I think see, my thing is I don't even have a problem with the chibi art style. I know a lot of people do, but like I think it looks fine. It's just that it was such a carbon copy to the point of being soulless of Gen 4. Like it didn't include any. Generally, when they remake the games in the past, they always have new features and they have things for you to be excited about. And it's the game, the big base game, like, and you have everything from the base game or very damn near close, plus a lot of new things. And they enhanced the underground in the new games, and that was it. That is all they enhanced. And I guess you could argue the Pokedex and whatever, but it was not like Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire where they added a whole different post game and did all these really cool things. It was not.
I mean, they added the underground areas, but it wasn't a lot.
That kind of stuff, and it's just. It was like not like Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Heart Gold and Soul Silver are the best remakes of all time, in my opinion. But yeah, that's the thing is, it's like I don't mind if they do like a faithful whatever. It's just like give us a little more meat on those bones, especially when that
Black and White remake would be. I don't even know what you call it faithful, because that had its own like rendering engine with like the battles. Like they like adopted like this pixelated movement thing. It was like this hybrid 3D 2D thing. It was really cool.
Exactly. And that's the
I also feel like
how
it's
do you
too
how
soon
does it
for a Black
translate?
and White remake. We just got Gen 4. I mean, maybe they're changing things up, but yeah, it's gonna be a toss up. But I kind of feel like the thing is, we've been getting a lot of Gen 5 hints, but we've also been getting a lot of Gen 2 hints. And so maybe we get like the bare bones Black and White remake, right? But then we also get a Legends like Celebi. And that would be an interesting.
It would be very
kind of way to
interesting
go
that they would
about it.
do Legends of a different region if they did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want more Legends games. I think Legends games are like where it's at. But
I mean, I would prefer them to just focus on one game.
yeah,
know?
that's where my
Yeah.
opinion is. Well, I mean, if Ilka's doing the Chibi one and then Game Freak is doing the Legends, which is how they did
I
it
mean,
prior,
resources
That's-
wise, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
But I guess I just want one game to be the focus.
marketing
you know?
wise, yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
at the
that makes
same
sense.
time, they may want to position the Legends game as a Switch 2 title, or like at least like a cross.
Yeah, and
thing.
that's the other part of this argument that is I've always been like, I'm like, this generation is coming to an end. So like what hardware is this going to be on? Are we going to just default to Switch and these people are we like, and that's the other part. I'm like, okay, are we saying it's gonna come out in whatever, but then they don't say like for Switch, or maybe it'll be cross gen. I don't know. But that's another piece of it where I'm like, okay, I really hope they don't do it, because it's like, okay, they should be waiting for, gen.
Can I just throw out a hypothetical?
Or a hypothetical. Give me a hypothetical.
Okay. All right. I just want to point something else out before the hypothetical, right? Because I feel like I have to, right? Because of the recent reports, I have to lean early 2025. I have no choice. I don't want to, but because of the reports, I have no choice.
Yeah.
Right. But the hypothetical is assuming that's wrong somehow. Right.
And we're getting a holiday this year. That's the
right. Yeah, we got holiday this year. We're probably
yeah.
gonna touch on it a little bit later, right? But there's some information suggesting maybe Metroid Prime 4 does come out this year. But in my opinion, there has to be a cross-gen version. It would just be really weird to not do, have it be like a launch window kind of thing. And so, what if Nintendo did push things up a little bit? Maybe initially it was going to be like a late summer release, but instead it's going to be like an October-November thing, right? So it was pushed up. And maybe what most devs are suggesting, like what we've heard, are just like that second tier of devs, right? And there's a very select group of developers that are only that they're still working on holiday stuff, which, by the way, we do have some evidence for. But that all said, I still have to lean 2025 because of the reports. But the hypothetical is, what if we launch, October, November, and in that window we get Metroid Prime 4 and a Legends game for Switch 2? Is that a good is that a good like 1-2 punch? Not Mario, not Zelda, Metroid Prime 4, which is a really ambitious Nintendo game with an online multiplayer, and a Legends game that's been visually enhanced and prepped for Switch 2.
Yeah, I would say I don't know if they would hedge their bets on the Pokemon company, especially after the most recent game being such a, not necessarily a like sales numbers wise flop, but being like press wise being such a flop. Like people are gonna buy Pokemon no matter what. That's not the issue that they're probably worried about. I'm saying more like in terms of the branding and the imaging of Switch 2.
Sure.
If the Pokemon company comes out with another piece of dog shit, respectfully, and it that doesn't look good for Switch 2. They wouldn't. Yeah. I don't think they would. Counter
argument though. I think what you're saying makes a lot of sense, right? Like you're probably right. But just my counter argument though is that if they're doing another Legends game, though, the Legends Arceus is considered by many to be the best Pokemon game on Switch.
I would agree with that. And
Nintendo might even be. They may even be. But my point is though, like this is all hypothetical, right? I don't think this is actually what's happening. But like if they could be keeping better tabs on it, and also if it's Legends, right? It's already more likely to do better anyways. And also, I think Nintendo already knows that the next Pokemon game is not going to be as much of a travesty. And especially if they're doing their second Legends game, that's more likely that they're going to have a more established formula for that. And so I would say the next one would be a little bit more polished as well, right? So even for the standards of Legends, like we're not talking about Scarlet Violet, just forget that.
It will be if Legends and
imagine a more polished Legends set in Johto. Come out. Like let's say that's what happens. That's what it is.
Yeah. Okay.
A better executed Legends game set in Johto and Prime 4.
I think that'd be cool. I think they would drop remakes first before they drop, like they did last time. I think they would drop remakes before they drop Legends, to be perfectly honest.
Yep,
We
that's
might
what they
just get a
did, so
Legends
we'll
game.
see.
Who knows? We might
I
not
don't
even
know.
get anything Gen
We
5.
don't know.
I don't
but
know.
We'll find out on the 27th.
I got some
Yeah, we
predictions.
really will.
If you guys want to hear them?
Give me some predictions. Give me
Sure.
some predictions.
So my predictions for the Pokemon Presents are always wild, because that's where I go. Yeah, I agree with the chibi game, that little chibi remake or whatever. But I think I also predict a new mobile game inspired by Pokemon Horizon series, and then they will show off Gen 10.
I would. I think I would cry
not
in a bad way.
they won't give a release date, but they'll actually show off Gen 10, kind of like
They'll
this.
tease it.
Yeah.
I-
Towards the end. Yeah. I know, Andre, you have your own little speculation thing in your own little world there, but guess what? This is my world now. I'm the one who's talking, and that's what's gonna happen.
I think Gen 10's a little too soon in terms of like they're gonna drop it, because it's just like, I don't know. I feel like they're still doing shit with Gen 9. I know they like just finished the DLC, but I guess I could see maybe they tease it like they did with Scarlet Violet. They teased it, and then they're like, it's coming in like a year and a half from now. Get ready. And but so maybe I could see that, but I don't know. Again, I think a lot of things, and I hope, I don't know, we'll see. I think this is going to be a very pivotal Pokemon Day presents for the Pokemon Company and Game Freak as well, just because I think it's going to really decide the direction of like Pokemon in the long term. And like if they continue down the shit cycle, that's going to slowly erode away their base, or if they actually, are somewhat receptive to the, criticisms and whatever, and they are at least trying to make adjustments.
Now, let me answer this question. 2025. Okay, Switch 2 is out.
Yeah.
There's not yet 20 million system sales. Pokemon Company tends to want to sell on the higher number of accounts in order to, get to their market. Yeah. Would they issue a Gen 10 for the Nintendo Switch and then another version for Switch 2?
They've never done a cross-gen thing. They've always opted, like using the DS and the 3DS as an example. Yeah. They've always opted to, even though there is older hardware, they've always opted for the older hardware. Like they will say they would drop, like in that scenario, I think they would drop it on, at least if we're basing it on past, they would just drop it on Switch and they wouldn't care. They would just
they only waited 1 year for Switch. That we got our first Pokemon games in the second year of Switch in 2018.
Because normally every 3 years, right? Every 3 years you get a new gen. Every 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. So I mean, so assuming the pattern holds, that would the holiday 2025 would be Gen 10, but that's assuming the pattern holds, which it's been holding for 15 years.
Well, I mean, if you give it 4 years, I could see them doing 4 years. Again, I think because they have a lot of like ongoing support for Scarlet and Violet, so I could see them doing more with it. But I don't know, maybe they want to dump it. Maybe they're treating it like the Wii U, and they want to escape that brand image and try to get out of there. And because that's what the DLCs felt like. I think the DLC and that's the biggest thing with me is like, I think we debated this like when we had the Nintendo or the Pokemon podcast with Saffron and other folks. I don't think it's a Game Freak issue. I think it's a time issue, and it's like because there's things in the game that are very creative and are very like, these are like tiny small things, and you're like, why are they there? If they were being lazy, they wouldn't have put those things there. You know what I'm saying? And especially just because like the mechanic of terrestrialization alone is such a cool and robust mechanic, and it's making the competitive scene like the best. The competitive side of Pokemon is actually the biggest it's ever been. I went to Charlotte Regionals, and it was literally like the biggest Pokemon event. It was bigger than any of the worlds in the past. It's been bigger than any. Yeah, it's like every regionals they do, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's so like on the competitive side and on the like the core fan side, I think Pokemon is they're fostering the audience because like the things that they are putting in their games are the things like the ideas they do have or manage to cultivate are very creative, and they have a lot of potential. It's just that I think they're just not catering enough to the casual Pokemon fan, I would say.
Would have been cool if they would have mixed the Gigantamax and the terrestrialized all into one. You get like one big.
That would be wild. I don't even know how you would do that, but that would be wild. Just because like because both of those rely on like I don't know. I don't want to get into the semantics of it, but yeah, that would be cool. I mean, it'd be interesting if they did something like that. So yeah. Anyways, yeah, that's my thing on Pokemon. I'll stop yapping. I know I'm yapping on Pokemon. Steve, are you a Pokemon connoisseur in any way, shape, or form, or are you just kind of like, oh wow?
No, I enjoy
Charles Gardner.
Pokemon.
Okay,
I was
yeah. What
I
you
was
got?
there. I was there day one for
Oh,
Pokemon
shit.
Red on my Game
I
Boy
wasn't
back
born-
in the day.
I was born the year Pokemon came to the States. Does that make you guys feel old?
A little bit.
Not really.
little
The
bit.
year.
I'm older than the NES, by the way. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Um.
Yeah, I'm excited though. I think my expectations are probably similar to your guys's, but
Yeah.
I would say that we're either going to get a Gen remake, possibly Black and White or Heart Gold, Soul Silver, or a new Let's Go entry. I think the timing is close, but it might be too soon for a Pokemon Legends sequel. And what I mean by too soon is it's really close from when the last one came out, and then I
Yes.
think to where we are with Switch 2, hopefully, right?
Yes.
That it would make more sense for Switch 2. I think the Pokemon Company will probably release one of their games that they are working on now and that they may have possibly even ready on Switch 2. But at the same time, and Mike, you mentioned this as well, and I had this in my other part here, is that my expectations kind of like my wants and desires line up with my expectations, and that I think a new Pokemon game would help the Switch 2's momentum. But at the same time, they might as well release one more to like really capitalize on the Switch's install base
Yeah.
and just rake in the cash. So I think we do get a Gen remake still on the Switch because I mean, how many are we at, guys, now? What was it, 140? We at 140?
It's pretty close. It's almost beat the DS. Or
I mean,
no, the DS is the DS best. Which one's best? Is DS better than PS2?
DS is the biggest one. Yeah, DS still on
No,
top.
PS2
So it's
is
almost-
better.
DS is number 2, PS2 is number
Okay,
1.
whichever one is number 2, which Switch is almost beat it.
Yeah.
It's like maybe it's like 10,000 units or something.
So
like
I mean, just look at that install base that you're selling to, right? And how many people are going to pick up two, both colors, right? Because there's a lot of
Yeah.
people who pick up both colors. I mean, you'd be leaving a lot
This
of
idiot right
money
here.
on the table to not release one more gen remake, and I think Legends could really probably take advantage more
Mhm.
of the Switch 2's hardware.
Mhm.
And we could see
What-
a much better looking Legends game as well. And I think that would be
Mhm.
better suited versus a gen remake.
What I could see them do is maybe put the chibi ones on Switch and then put and maybe make them cross gen. But then Legends is a Switch 2 exclusive. I could see because I don't think they care as much about Legends in terms of like driving sales, because that's not usually, because like the last Legends game in terms of sales, because there's only one, it sold well, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying it doesn't sell like hotcakes like the the main line.
Not their money
No,
maker. Their
no,
main
It's not
okay,
their money
that's it.
maker.
Andres is like,
Nope.
I've had enough of all this.
Nope.
What is
What
happening?
what did I say wrong,
Andres,
Andres?
stop. You triggered
okay,
enough.
go ahead.
No,
Let's go.
No.
No, what's
So
up? All right, what did I say
I
wrong?
don't agree. I just don't agree. It's just that simple.
All right, fair
I
enough.
don't agree. Right. Well, technically, you're right. Legends has not sold as much as some of the Pokemon games, but it's circumstantial. Legends sold like, I'll just literally pull up the sales right now. It's
Isn't it like 14 million or something?
right.
Yeah.
It's like a smidge under. Let me pull it up. I'll just tell you.
I mean,
hold
you
on.
know, the sales though that I'm looking at, that 14.8 that you'll probably see, Andres, that's as of March 2023. So how much more has it sold? It's been almost 12 months,
'cause they-
another year.
Yeah, I don't know what they're.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably considerably better, I would think.
Right.
probably-
So
it's probably
as
at
of the
least
last
15
time it's
million
been
at this point.
it's been updated, right? It's at 14.83 to your point, right? They haven't told us
Yeah,
recently, so
it's
maybe
probably
it's
hit
higher.
15. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe, right? But just based off the knowledge we have, right? So Legends of Arceus sold 14.83. Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, which came out 2 months later, beforehand actually, or
No,
beforehand.
I was saying it
sold,
came out before. Yeah.
right, sold 15.06, right? So Brilliant Diamond came out during November holidays, had holiday boost, was 2
the
different
remake.
copies.
Same.
and sold 15 Legends Arceus, sold in January after the holidays, far less sales potential, just one copy, and basically sold the same amount. And so that's I would say actually no, if Legends was given a proper holiday period, and even if they went for the 2 sort of copy thing, it would destroy
Well, it would
sales.
2 I hope it doesn't do 2 copies.
I hope
like
it
that.
doesn't, but right.
I
But
think
let's
that's
just
the shtick about it is that it's 1 copy, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I personally, I think maybe they just go for 1, but the point is if they just gave it like the focus as a holiday title as opposed to a random January throwaway right
Plus,
after people spend a whole bunch of money on a Pokemon game, it's gonna do way better than 15.
On top of that, I would argue Arceus, the whole Legends right now has like the best reputation at the moment for the Pokemon
I think so.
company.
It is the
So, like,
most
people are much more
optimistic,
willing to give
yeah.
faith in a second one.
To tell you
Well,
the truth, I think a Legends game will sell over 20 million if it's given the proper treatment.
I would agree.
At least 20.
The full hype cycle into the holiday.
The crazy thing with Arceus is in the core Pokemon community, or at least like the competitive scene, they just do not care about it. Like they just don't.
Well, it's not that
because
it's
not a core game. Plus the battling system in it with the agile and switch style, it doesn't translate to, it doesn't translate to the competitive scene. Like the actual, like there's no. The only thing they care about it is some of the Pokemon in those games. Like they transfer them out and then they use them in the other ones. But yeah,
I mean, they could add multiplayer in the next one if they wanted to.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
I kind of like that they didn't do it.
They didn't.
I almost feel like Arceus is like the anti-hardcore Pokemon game.
I do too.
Yeah,
except in some ways it's more hardcore.
Yeah, but in some ways it is more. But it's kind of like, because I think like, and this is just something that I've learned over the years. The loudest people you hear on the internet are always usually the vocal minority. Maybe I'm part of the vocal minority in some way. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But like Pokemon's massively popular worldwide. Millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people playing. I mean, just look at Pokemon Go and how many people still play that all the time. Still a top 10 app all these years later with player base. It kind of just reminds me that like just like when there was the Dexit thing and everyone was like getting all mad online, was it really everyone, or was it just like competitive scene people bitching really, really loudly?
I don't really think competitive scene people cared that much about Dexit either. It's a different audience.
I know. I'm just throwing it out there that like it to me, it just always feels like it, at least from as someone more like on the outside of the Pokemon community, that like most people I meet that play Pokemon just like Pokemon and don't care, and they just casually play and it's all fun. But then when I go online, there's always like all this vitriol within the community from all these different sectors that I don't quite understand. Like maybe they're just taking Pokemon too serious. I don't know. I've never viewed Pokemon as like a super serious type of game.
Pokemon is so huge, right? Like I think there's a lot of different types of audiences, right? You have the Nuzlocke community, right? You have like the creepypasta community, right? You have the competitive community, you have the casual community, you have the collector community, you have the trading card community, right? You have the anime community. Like Pokemon is like so big that like you have different niche fan bases within the fan base.
Yeah, I was like, you're never gonna please. We were talking about this with my friends. You're never gonna please everybody within the Pokemon fandom. Yeah, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but yeah,
that's it.
It's just what it is. Yeah, and I think
that thinks Pal World is embarrassing the Pokemon company, and so
so the whole thing with Pal World is like, you know, you can argue whether it's stole shit or whatever. Like, that doesn't fucking matter, right? Like, it's whatever. Like, that's, if it did, it did. It didn't. It's what Power World has proven is that they have created a hole in the market for Pokemon Company has left a gap in the market for their casual fans. And I think that there's a demographic of people, of the casual fans, but I think Arceus eventually, or excuse me, the Legends series of games could eventually recapture in a more better sense than the regular core games, because the regular core games is what all the core fans always they want, that and they want the competitive scene and the shiny and the breeding and everything else. But then Arceus, I think you're gonna appeal way more to that casual audience. But unless something changes, it's just gonna that's what I think. Power World, I think it's more of like it's a star. It's burnt out. I mean, I hope it gets more support and whatever. I don't think it has any longevity though. but I think it shows, I think it signals to the Pokemon Company and to Game Freak that, hey, there's a large market of people you are not tapping into that want to, that want this kind of game or a more casual Pokemon experience that your games are not providing right now. And I think that's just where I'm at with that. So
Like Pokemon with guns.
Oh boy.
maybe not that extreme, but I mean, Arceus, you had the Pokemon attack you, like, and they could kill you. So like, I mean, that's pretty. I mean, you can't shoot back or anything, but like, I don't know that Arceus takes that darker route than a Pokemon game normally would. So
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know.
yeah. Anyways,
All right. I was did a fun little poll of people were excited, and it ended with 51% of people are not looking forward to the Pokemon.
Wow.
events.
Yeah. No, I see 50 and 49. Where
Yeah,
the
well,
extra
that's just-
1%
that's
went?
No, the
That's
one
being
just left.
weird.
Yeah, the one just left. Yeah, was 51. Yeah, it's not an even split. Anyways,
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I can be any sort of excited for would be is if they brought Red and Blue to NSO. That'd be about
Well,
it.
and
I-
they'll
otherwise,
never
I
do-
don't
they'll
give
never
two
do
flying
that.
what do you think?
Right.
What do you think about Legends? 'Cause what if they drop another one of those?
It was okay.
It was just
I
okay.
mean,
Okay.
That's fair.
Okay.
That's
You
fair.
take that back, Eric. You
I think-
take that back.
No, I think that's a very fair assessment, especially as I assume Eric is a lot more of a casual fan that doesn't.
You take
I
that
don't know,
back,
I
Flip.
wa- I fell
You
out of
take that
Pokemon
back.
after Gen 1.
He's a Gen 1er.
I literally
So
fell
am
out of
I just think I like
don't have an
Legends so
issue
much
with
just
Gen
because of
2,
how refreshing
but-
it was. So he's
Up here.
moving.
up here.
The
here.
the camera's following him.
I
My
mean-
eyes are up here.
Yeah.
I'll turn off the gestures. You know I can turn them off, right?
Oh, that's funny.
There we go. Okay.
I will turn off the gestures.
Oh, piss off.
Are you locked yet?
I don't
You
know.
Good.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I will turn off
Thank
the
you.
gesture.
Jesus. I didn't even make the gesture, and it just like,
Hey, it just dude. If you get up to go to the bathroom, it just wants to spin
apparently-
around and
yeah,
follow.
apparently.
I think he said something I didn't like.
Yeah.
Like,
There you go.
But-
Stop making me mad. You're talking. That's what.
Yeah, I'm
It's
talking.
happened every time you talk.
Yep.
That's
apparently.
what it is.
I talk with my hands. I'm sorry.
There you go.
Yeah, but no, I don't have an issue with Gen 2, but I don't know. Once they kind of exploded the amount of Pokemon in a game, it just I was bashed over the head with gotta catch them all. So if I play a Pokemon game, I gotta catch them all. And no, not anymore.
I mean, you could. So as someone, so I was like you. I had that same opinion. Right? We've had this conversation before.
No.
But I played Scarlet and Violet. I played Arceus. What's really nice about the games that I didn't think of over the years is they have their own self-contained Pokedex. You can just worry about that Pokedex instead
Yes.
of
Oh,
the national dex.
Well, and
oh,
That's
And now
why
you can't
I
even
love-
worry about the national
Yeah,
dex
yeah.
technically.
That's why I love Arceus in concept because
Mhm.
they make catching and collecting Pokemon enjoyable again. And I'm not to say that like it's not necessarily unenjoyable, but it definitely in like the mainline games where you have to battle, you have to weaken it, you got to do this, you got to do that, and then you can finally maybe catch it. And you have to spend like 5 turns just to throw 3 Pokeballs. When in Arceus, like at the very least, you may throw like a lot of Pokeballs still,
Mhm.
but you don't even have to engage in a battle. You can just like sneak up on it. There's so many ways you can approach it. And I just that's like the core loop of Arceus and like the Legends games that I love. And I wish they continued that. I wish they just like that feature they brought into Scarlet and Violet. Like you didn't have to, like I would have understood if they still kept like the really same battle mechanics and shit. But
Mhm.
it's just that is just such a fun gameplay loop of like it just makes catching fun. Like I'm having fun just running around, throw it. I've caught this Bidoof 10 times before, and I'm gonna catch it a 11th and a 12th time. I see that shit. I'm like, oh, let's throw
See
one
how
at it.
far you
Why
can chuck this Pokeball and catch something.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's just fun, and that's what it comes down to. Is like it's just the newer games just don't feel that part of the game is just such a slog, and that's what I love about Arceus. It just makes that really fun. Anyways, sorry, I'm done on my Arceus. tangent.
I'm just
That's
saying
all right.
I don't give 2 flying craps. So that's
Yeah.
all I have to say about this topic. So
All right.
I'm done.
Well,
How
that's
dare
all
you.
right because I think we're done with that topic.
I think that's a good point to put it on.
So the interesting thing is it's wild when we get a week when there's actually like so much big things to talk about that our third topic isn't some throwaway. Instead, this could have been the lead topic if we wanted it to be.
Mhm.
In fact,
Yeah.
we might have more viewers if it was the lead topic because people will want to talk about it one way or another.
Yeah.
And that is all the latest rumor mill craziness happening surrounding Nintendo Switch 2. It's insane because it was like Friday last week. All the reports came out. Hey, Switch 2 ain't coming until Q1 of 2025.
Mm-hmm.
Internal
Now-
delays.
That could have meant fiscal. Can I say fiscal?
Well, that's still yeah. So looking at all the clarifications by all the outlets that put it does sound fiscal. Like next fiscal year is the goal. So that would be January, February, March.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Only one person said was at the earliest. There was one outlet that said that they were told at the earliest March. We'll see. Obviously, it's not like we know. It's a system that isn't publicly announced.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of Nintendo acknowledging that they are working on something. They've acknowledged that much, but they haven't actually announced the system yet. So there's that, right? So we have all those reports. Started with this guy that I cannot pronounce his name. Someone else want to pronounce it? Can pronounce these names better than me.
Pedro Enrique Luti Lipe.
All right, there we
Okay.
go. Yep,
Sounds good.
that's way better than me. Anyways, he's a journalist out in Brazil, well known in the community because he's been on top of this stuff before, runs a podcast and everything. And he did the original first report on this. And the interesting thing in there was that he said outside of that, and that it'd be that it got delayed and all that. One of the other interesting things he mentioned is that there just wouldn't really be a whole lot of exciting things for Switch this year. Every big game is being saved for Switch 2, which runs kind of, in my opinion, against like Jeff Grubb, like hearing that Metroid Prime 4 might come this year because I don't know any world that you can say Metroid isn't going to be considered a big game. The last one was up for Game of the Year, but then also if you just want to talk about pure sales, then maybe it kind of because we don't know.
And also last year they said there were no big games at the Tears of the Kingdom, and they got Mario Wonder. So what is it? Is it sales? Is it a price of game? Is it quality?
Yeah.
It seems like it just changes every time.
Yeah, it changes every time. I think the general gist is that Nintendo's not going to have a lot of big exclusive system selling games. I think that's the way I'm going to put it. Is there won't be a lot of big exclusive system selling games this year compared to prior years. Now, obviously, Pokemon coming is nice, but we had that 2 fiscal years ago, and we still had sales dip year over year. So I think they're just at the point where Switch's sales aren't really going to recover no matter what they drop. So save everything for Switch 2.
I think that Prime 4 is not going to save hardware sales.
Yeah, no, and nor is the new Pokemon game or anything. Like look, Switch sales are going down because they're reaching market saturation. It is what it is.
If Tears of the Kingdom and the Mario movie couldn't do it, nothing can.
All right.
Yep.
So before I get into the other part, because there's additional rumors here also coming. This is why I brought up the Pedro guy specifically, because he has other rumors he's thrown out there in addition, just like yesterday or 2 days ago. Mm-hmm. Let's just talk about that idea of Switch 2 not coming this year. What are we feeling about this? These are obviously rumors, no verification from Nintendo. The big thing about this, the movie, the 2025 thing, is it's been corroborated by a lot of places. Video Game Chronicles corroborated it. Eurogamer's corroborated it. Mm-hmm. And Bloomberg has corroborated it. So that's a lot of outlets. Of course, these are also all the exact same outlets that told us that Switch Pro is coming out.
Yeah, exactly. So let me. I have a theory. I made a video on this theory, and I just want to share it. I believe. So first thing, I believe Switch 2 is coming this year. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But it's coming this year. I think that developers are in a way they misinterpret what they were told by Nintendo, since we didn't really see what they were told, and it was a communication. Some people say they told me, some developers say that they never got it, and so the information is not completely clear. Nobody has come out and said Nintendo said this verbatim, So what I think was that there is a launch window for Nintendo Switch 2, right? And so those games that are going to be produced and launching with Nintendo Switch 2 to be part of that promotional push, they need to have their games out by a certain date, first quarter of 2025, which is January, February, March. And so that's what I believe Nintendo was kind of telling developers. You need to have your Nintendo Switch ready, your game ready by this set time if you want to be part of the Nintendo Switch, by 2025, so and so and such. So
launch window, right?
Yeah, so that's what I believe that it has to do. It has to do with the launch window of Switch 2. it could come out in November, and so if they want to be part of that launch window for Switch 2, they will need to have their game ready by the first quarter of 2025, which is the first 3 months of the year next year. And I mean, I think it's coming this year. I think for me, I'm expecting a March trailer. I'm expecting a June, an April or May event, and I'm expecting a June or July release.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
I'm very curious if Nate the Hate
Like
has
that.
updated his March
June, July.
thing that he said. Because he
Yeah.
said he'd provide an update when he has it, and I don't think he has, unless he did it on the podcast tonight, which I'll watch that later. So look, I'm obviously, I put out a whole video that I'm on the 2024 train, and some of it is mostly just there's a lot of hopium and copium, of course, involved when talking about Switch 2, because I would like it to come out sooner than later, because there's a couple things I don't buy. Like there was one of the reports suggested that they delayed it because they're trying to because they're trying to line up their software for it. And I sat there, I'm like, Nintendo hasn't had a problem getting software out the entire Switch gen. So I just don't really buy. And you look at the last couple of years, okay, Zelda and Mario and what?
Yeah.
And what? Like you're clearly must be saving some stuff. Something's going on. So I'm like,
there's only one source that said that they delayed.
Yeah, there's only
things.
one that said that. Yeah.
And actually, they only suggested it. So what does that even mean?
Yeah.
Like they
So
didn't.
I'm like,
even,
I don't buy that. That's why.
know.
So I kept thinking, like, why would they actually delay it? Like, I kept thinking, like, are they really worried about the PlayStation 5 Pro? Like, is that something that would really make them worried, especially since the PlayStation 4 Pro sales weren't insane? I don't know if they're really worried about that. I kept thinking, like, is there some big holiday shenanigans going on where maybe they don't want to be involved? The only thing I think of is system launches, but then again, even with Xbox and PlayStation maybe dropping some new versions of their platforms, I still don't think that Nintendo would really run from that, and they could avoid that entirely by just releasing it in a different month than those systems come out. So I kept thinking, like, why would Nintendo delay? There's only a couple reasons I can come up with. One of them is that there's actually a manufacturing problem. Maybe like they're trying to get these things in mass production, which, by the way, assembly and mass production should be all happening here beginning in March based on the Chinese calendar and all that stuff. They had a holiday season. But a Chinese New Year, I think is what they call it. Anyways, the big thing is that maybe there was a manufacturer. Maybe the yields weren't as good on the chips as they thought they would be. Or maybe they've made a decision, and this is where some people could get too excited. I don't want to I don't know anything. Just to clarify, this is all speculation. Maybe there is a chance that they have somehow gone with a different chip than the T239, and they've made a late decision to change it out for something else. Maybe something better. Maybe something worse. I don't know.
Samsung.
They're working with it, supposedly working with NVIDIA on this. So who knows? Because remember, the T239, like this thing's been in development for like since 2020. And it's kind of like, well, now we're getting towards 2025, and maybe Nintendo's like, we need something newer to make our system last longer. And because of that, that's pushing back manufacturing plans. And obviously we got to get new dev kits out. And so like, that's going to push everything back a little bit. So that could obviously be a reasonable explanation as well. Now, again, this is all behind the scenes stuff that I have no idea. I'm just speculating. So that's like one thing. It's like a hardware related manufacturing thing. Another aspect this is the only real reason I can see where anyone would even mention software. It wouldn't be to get the lineup for the whole first year set up, like they did in 2017. It would be because the launch game isn't ready. Whatever that is. If it's Mario, if it's Mario Kart, whatever they want, that big defining game. Because if you think about it, Breath of the Wild really defined Switch when it came out. That big defining game, maybe there's just been a development delay with that. And that's not where they want it to be, because they know this game has to be near perfect. And if it's not, and they feel they need more time for it, we know Nintendo's been always willing to delay their development of games. They've done it time and time again. Delayed the development of game. I mean, Mario Wonder made without even having a development timetable. Well, when you're launching a system, there's clearly a development timetable. So what if, say it's a 3D Mario, say they think that's what it is. What if it's just they realize now, man, we're not gonna have this done in time for holiday, for a state of the game that we're actually like proud of. This needs more polish. And so they're like, we're going to push it back a few months just to make sure that defining game is ready. Those are the only two reasons I could really think that Nintendo would actually delay it. But to go into also why I'm still on the 2024 train. And again, I know this is a strange point, kind of follow me down the rabbit hole a bit. Every outlet that has confirmed or, had their sources on this, all of them are overseas or in other countries. Okay. Even Bloomberg, which is technically a United States outlet, the reporter is Takahashi Machizuki, who's actually located in Japan. So I sat here for a moment and I was wondering about, because the one thing you're never going to hear when people say we have sources, they never tell you where the sources are from, what developers they are, right? You can make a natural presumption that like VGC and Eurogamer, that they're more centralized in the UK. So a lot of the developers they would hear from are from the UK or Europe. Yeah, that's what you assume. That's who they're closer to. Then when they go to media and press events, those are the developers at those events. So that's the connections they would make, right? And you can, obviously the guy out of Brazil, I don't know, I presume he's got three different countries he said his sources are in. One of them, I presume, is Brazil. The other two countries, I have no idea. The reason I throw this all out here, and this is without listening to if Nate the Hate updated or anything, because he is from the United States, is that the United States and Japan are Nintendo's two big primary markets. And Nintendo has staggered the release of console launches in the past. And I think people are forgetting that even the Switch was technically not a worldwide launch, March 3rd, 2017. It had staggered releases in many different countries. And one thought I had is, one thing Nintendo might be worried about, just because of the success of Switch, and is that the demand for Switch 2, once it's announced and the games are shown, could be so high that even without a pandemic, they might be anticipating 2020 level problems with stock.
I think that's a very correct assumption. I think
if that's the case, they might not want to launch it worldwide because it's going to be too hard to keep up, and it'll just be ended up with lots of consumer frustrations. So instead, focus on their couple biggest markets at launch, and then start staggering a new launch like every couple of months. And that could be why, hey, maybe don't have your games ready until the system actually launches in your territory. Now, the counter to this, it's a very easy counter. A lot of these studios, when they make games, they release them worldwide. So, like, why would that even matter to tell them that? But it's one of those things that maybe Nintendo even wants staggered game launches to go along with all the launches of the systems in given territory. Hey, the system just launched. You got this whole back library, but also here's a new one that you didn't know about yet. So it's just a theory. And this isn't saying that like, oh, it's not true because we don't know for sure if there's a United States, it's just a theory, guys. It's not meant to be like that serious. It's just giving the fact that we don't know what the memo says, because the only quote we have seen that is very consistent from every single source is Nintendo has told us to have our games ready by Q1 of 2025. Okay. Are you presuming then because of that it's launching then, or did Nintendo actually put in the memo, we are launching our system, or we're planning to launch our system in Q1 of 2025? That hasn't been quoted anywhere. The only consistent quote is the have your games ready, have your games ready. So we'll see what happens, obviously, but that is where I am at. And this is one thing I want to make clear. This is all opinions. I don't know why people do this. Like, oh, see, you were wrong. Got you. No, I always reserve the right to change my opinions as new information becomes available. I think it's actually intellectually fraudulent to not let your mind be changed as more information comes out. Because if you're not, then that means you're very closed-minded. So this is just where I'm at right now. Literally, they could tease the thing in March and my whole mind could change. Or there could be brand new reports with a whole bunch of and that could change my mind. Or, there's a lot of different things. And I am going to tell you right now, I am not stupid. These outlets are reliable outlets. So them all saying this, if it's early 2025, it's early 2025. That is something I've already kind of accepted. But I'm just not all the way there because I feel like there's less clarity with this than we've had in the past. And I don't have that level of clarity personally. But again, my mind can change. So.
And to add to your point, Nate, the Switch did come out 3 years later in Brazil, right? It was in
2020. I think 2020,
compared to 2017. So
the OLED also came out like a year and a half after the initial release as well.
I can see the staggered kind of release. Yeah.
So that's like the biggest argument is that they still could be staggered because the biggest thing is like Mike brought up the developers. Well, Nash Weedle put out there that he had heard, and he's been fairly reliable so far. That yes, he knows some developers that have gotten the memo, and this isn't like a joke, and it's not Nintendo trying to suss out fake leakers. That was like people were wondering if this was planted. And then he also said, but I also have a couple developers that haven't gotten the memo at all that are working on Switch 2 games. So it's kind of like, well, if all the developers aren't being told, but only some.
Yeah. So a couple things. One, it's possible that they haven't been updated yet, but it's a little odd, right?
Yeah, especially when the news broke like that. You figure they'd reach out to their teams.
But I think it's also worth noting though that no, obviously, a lot of people don't seem to want to trust Nash Weedle, even though he hasn't been wrong about anything.
Could be wrong eventually. He's got a lot of stuff out there.
Right. Yeah. Right, and that is fair, right? But it's over time, more and more things get corroborated by others that he said. So, like for example, a lot of people are buying into what we've heard from Brazil about the enhanced ports and backwards compatibility.
Yep.
Well, Nash Weedle told us about that 2 months before.
Yeah, like months
right.
ago.
So, and then also with the dev kits 2 months before, and so maybe Nash Weedle is just predicting these things and getting it right ahead of everyone else. Or maybe they are actually putting out this information before everyone else. And so if that's the case, right, it would be kind of weird if Nash Weedle's developer sources are outdated when he's been more,
up
ahead of up to date than
or
everyone else.
Saying it before others did.
Right. And that's true because maybe others don't want to speak on it.
Yeah, they want to wait till like it's further along, maybe,
Right. Yeah, and so maybe he's a little bit more liberal with like once he
or
has
maybe
a couple
he's talking based on one source where everybody else wants to corroborate it. They want to get that second source.
Well, well, as an example, like some of the outlets said they heard whispers, but they weren't going to make the report, and then Brazil put it out there, and then they went and said, "Well, let's turn these whispers into something," and then they corroborated. Like, I don't think these people are reaching to give an to just like for VGC, Eurogamer, Bloomberg. I don't think these people are just like reaching out to developers all the time asking about Switch 2. I just don't think that's what they're doing. So like it's more so when rumors crop up, if they're like, oh, I've kind of heard something about that. So then they'll report on it and then they'll reach out and try to confirm. So I don't know. But yeah, Nash Weedle, I mean, so far has been decently reliable, I would say. But again, it's still all rumors. It's opinions. Like all of my opinions are still based on all rumors. Like the entire system even existing is technically still a rumor, other than Nintendo just is making something.
Yep. But they're always making something according to them. So
yeah. Well, I mean they are.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe Nintendo's plan. Hey, you know what? This sounds more likely. Maybe they're gonna end up dropping, a Switch Mini or an OLED Lite or something this year.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, I mean I think that's happening regardless. Because that's what happened in 2017 and 2012.
Ssure.
Yeah. I want to say something else though.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, just so the thing is, right? The whole Jeff Grubb thing, right, about Metroid Prime 4 being this year. Last week he put out a podcast where he heard there's a Metroid plan for May, but he also said it may be outdated information. And he said the source is pretty good on stuff. And then this week, right, we hear that, his source was right about Epic Mickey. So it gives him more confidence that Metroid Prime 4 is coming this year because the source told him the same thing. But something to keep in mind here, right? Okay, so the source is right about an Epic Mickey announcement maybe happening during a partner showcase. Well, we already had initial rumors from multiple places that we were going to get a partner showcase and that Switch 2 reveal would happen, right? They were coming from the same places. So the partner showcase has been proven true. But now, because of all these reports, we're assuming that the second half of the rumor has been outdated, right? And so we go back to the Metroid Prime 4 thing and how, Jeff Grubb saw that the Epic Mickey part from his sources correct. Maybe the Metroid Prime 4 thing is different because plans change and they push things back, right? So I just want to put that out there that, we may be seeing like some signs of things that seem to suggest 2024, but that may just be because there was a plan for that and things were setting up for that. And then all of a sudden, really recent, like maybe last week or the week prior, recent plans changed, right? So that could be why we're kind of seeing maybe some sort of conflicting info, but not necessarily. That's me playing anti-Hopium, just for the record. I want to be on Team Hopium, but
Yeah,
You
I
know.
mean, look, and I fully admitted it. Like a lot of my thoughts, yeah, copium and hopium are like at the center of it because I just think it's time, and I've been preaching 2024 for a while. But I fully. This isn't like me saying I'm not willing to be defeated. It's I don't control any of this. I just it'll probably, like, if you just want to look at it at face value, sure, everything's saying 2025 right now. There's not like anything that isn't, other than like me with that weird speculation and reasoning and like digging into it. But then you can call it investigation if you want. Really, it's just searching for reasons to keep it in this year.
I'm curious what Kit and Krista how they feel about the Switch 2 thing, because I don't think they've made any videos on it on the Switch 2
On
reports.
the Nintendo podcast, the closest thing they've given to like their prediction is like what I was saying earlier about the cleaning house. It's like they said they feel like their prediction is that they think, you know, this month is like they clean house, they give you the last of the updates, whatever. And then
I think that was before
we
the
should
reports.
probably. No, it might have been, yeah. But
yeah, it was.
and
That
then
was
March
yeah,
we should
not
probably
during the podcast.
expect. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so they were aligned with kind of everyone before the reports, and so I'm just kind of curious because I think I saw that maybe, I don't know, it'd just be interesting to see their opinion.
Thunder Steve, what do you think?
Well, I would say, yeah, obviously, guys, I want to play the Switch 2 ASAP. I think like all of us do. I do believe there's conflicting data out there as far as the rumors are concerned. I think it's odd and that some developers, like you guys said, have heard about it or got the memo from a Nintendo, while there's a rumor that other developers haven't got anything from Nintendo. And I don't think that's how Nintendo operates. Do you guys think that's how they operate? That they just forget to
I don't
tell
know.
some developers?
Well, so,
I
and that's a
can't
good question to
imagine.
ask Kit and
Yeah.
Krista, because they used to work in the Nintendo marketing department. So
Yeah, I just can't imagine that. You know, like I've
I
worked in the corporate world for like 20 years.
Mhm.
That's not how things go down. Like you inform your partners. There's no way. There's just no way. So that right there just has me really questioning things right out of the gate. Like, hey, not to say that these rumors are false, but maybe they weren't interpreted correctly. And it's hard for us because we can't see it. And obviously that hasn't leaked. So kind of like what you said, Mike, which was interesting. And I actually, you know, obviously we're all searching for ways that this is going to work for
Right.
2024. But what you said does make sense, right? There's always that launch window promotion. It's like a promotional period where Nintendo will promote your games more. Their marketing will promote it more if you're part of that launch window.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you're paying for that out of your own pocket, right? As a developer. And so that is interesting. And that launch window, to my knowledge and all my years, and you guys can probably correct me if I'm wrong, but that launch window has always been 6 months, 6-month launch window. It's always been that.
The way Nintendo treats it. Yep.
Yeah. So, okay. So say we're operating off that 6-month launch window. Makes sense that, hey, if you want to be part of this, you know, the launch promotion, you got to have your game out by Q1 2025. And so, yeah, that could make sense if the Switch 2 were to release in October. I could totally get on board with that. I think that's a really good idea. So hopefully it is that. But, you know, ultimately, guys, it's like, I guess we really have to wait for the big end to speak up and let us know what's going on. And
Reveal it.
the earliest we might know.
You will throw 2025 in the reveal, I'm sure. Let's
Yeah, right. Is March? Is
Crush
that
my
the earliest?
you know
that
what's
we're
interesting?
looking at?
Bloomberg suggested that early 2025 would be the earliest. Like March 2025 would be the earliest.
Yeah.
So there's a scenario where we have to wait even later, which just seems kind of unreal to me.
Let me ask you guys this, okay? And Andres, you mentioned it a little bit earlier, and I had this in my notes as well, is that,
Sure.
you know, if we looked at it last year, you guys all remember that a lot of us thought that, like, hey, we're getting Zelda, and then probably nothing much more from Nintendo, right? Like, nobody thought we were going to be getting a new Mario game, Super Mario Wonder, Super Mario RPG, Pikmin 4. nobody had that on their bingo card. Then it was like, oh, Princess Peach Showtime, Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. Nobody really saw that coming. So then I got to ask myself, okay, well, everyone kind of doubted that would happen. Do we dare doubt them again this year if that happens? Because what if it does? I mean, what if the Switch 2 doesn't come out? And then we all say, well, I guess we're not getting anything else really from Nintendo first party. And then this happens again. They're like, oh, we're getting Metroid Prime 2, Metroid Prime 3, Metroid Prime 4, possibly. And then I got to ask this too. This is like, I can't get out of my mind, is that you guys remember that leak that happened for the Lego Deku tree?
Yeah.
The great Deku tree.
Yeah.
That doesn't get out of my head, man, because it's like, hey, I was telling my girlfriend about it. She probably doesn't care. I was like, babe, this is an obscure character. I said, he means something to me because I grew up, of course, with Ocarina of Time. So that moment, obviously, with the great Deku tree was really cool. It's one I remember. However, there's a lot of people that this means nothing to them, right? Especially the younger generation that has never played this. This means nothing to them. Why would you release that? It has to mean something to them.
There's a Deku tree in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll launch alongside the other movie.
I just gotta wonder if we're gonna get the Ocarina of Time remake. Like, what if that's the big game for Switch? What if it is, and then none of us care. None of us care because we're getting that in Switch 2. We'll see you in Q1.
If we get that, I can wait till next year.
I have ways to cope each way. If it comes out 2024, I can't wait. But I'm looking at it the other way too. Like, hey, if it doesn't, what's on tap?
Yeah. And I said that earlier before the Nintendo Direct. If we wait till 2025, I don't mind waiting unless Nintendo actually delivers with something that would say, wow, okay, this is fine. I can wait.
Yeah, and then
Something
obviously
to
we still have
anticipate.
the other one, that Twilight and Wind Waker. Who knows what's going on with that?
Mm-hmm.
True, if that's even like still happening.
I'm so over Twilight Princess and Wind Waker that even if they announce it at like the next director showcase for this year, I'm just gonna be like, cool.
I'm pretty fatigued from it.
Would you like an applause? Thanks.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'll probably still pick them up, but it's like, okay. Like this probably would. I feel like this would have did better earlier in the gen, but thanks for.
I mean, they might work. They might do pretty well.
I mean, if it's backwards compatibility too, like it'll be fine then. My whole thing is like, what if they don't sell very well and then it just ends up becoming like the Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD on Wii U, where like they're impossible to get and they're super expensive.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think Wind Waker and Twilight Princess are going to sell like 3D All Stars.
Maybe, or not.
Like temporary.
Depends on how.
No, I just mean like it's going to sell like hotcakes. I mean, they could do it even. Yeah, if they do a collector's edition, sure, maybe if it is limited release. But
please, no, don't even bring that up. None of this FOMO crap from Nintendo again. That was such BS.
Limited release time.
That was BS.
Man, Mario, is it that Mario game that they released on the NSO? The Mario, was it Mario 35? That was a pretty, good
that was really fun, and then just gone. I mean, they told us it would be gone, then they just did it. I'm like, no, just no. This is not okay.
You'd think we get something next year, though.
They technically did it with Jump Rope Challenge too.
The big
took
40
that down too for I don't know what reason to take it. I don't know why they took Jump Rope Challenge down. It was a free game they made during the pandemic. I don't know what the problem is. Maybe because it's free. That was the problem. It had the words "free" next to it.
Yeah.
Bye.
But sell it for $1 then. Jeez, at least leave it on the eShop.
Jump Rope DLC.
Eric, you got any thoughts on this before we get to the extra rumors that are attached?
I hear 2025 and I want to flip this desk. I know there's a lot of expensive things on here.
So Eric might not be here next week, but he might do a cold open himself.
Yeah, you might hear me from where I'm going to Green Bay next week, so you might hear me from there if this turns out to be true. Yeah.
Packers? You see the Packers?
Yeah, I'll be right around there. Yeah.
Nice.
As I tell everybody where I'm going to be.
I'm gonna hunt you down.
Is that a smart thing to do? I don't know.
Is getting
Well, I mean, you and like 300,000 people that live there. So.
I mean, there is that.
But they could pick you out from a
They could.
crowd.
They possibly could.
Just shave.
I might be. Yeah, right.
They won't.
Right.
They won't know.
I lose about 10 years when I shave. So.
Yeah, they're not looking for little boys. They're looking for a
right.
man.
I'm not quite 40. I'm not a man yet.
I think if I got recognized in a crowd, I don't know. That'd be like such an achievement for me. Like, oh my God, you know me on the internet? That's crazy.
I've had it happen a couple of times. It feels pretty cool.
It happened at PAX.
Did happen at PAX, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I'm not
I had a handful of
not
people
trying to
back.
downplay it, but like everybody's there for that.
Like
But
not content creators, like just fans.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
That's so sick.
Yeah,
Y'all are on PAX,
but
right?
I just don't want to be Mr. Beast, where I can't even like leave my house.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like my micro celebrity status. What is it?
He needs to buy like his own country.
But I
Man.
did find out something.
Just live there.
Talking about celebrityhood, and like being in the public, I did find out something really interesting, and I think it was genius. Michael Jackson with his kids. The reason why he always he put the kids with the mask in public when they were together, was so that they could actually go out on their own later on with their nanny and just be like regular kids. So they were able to go to supermarkets, theaters, and do everything because nobody recognized them. Because whenever they were with Michael Jackson, they had that mask on top of them. So that's pretty cool.
Smart.
Maybe we should do that.
So
Just don't dangle from a balcony.
Yeah, okay. So to get into some other rumors that are attached to this, and again, this is because the original report, this guy goes by the name Brazil Online, at least on family boards. He does have a Twitter account as well that he doesn't actually tweet from that often. But he put out some posts on family boards that are interesting. Now he's just saying, I want to clarify before I get into this. He's just saying this is what he's heard at the moment. Things can change, so don't get mad at him if this isn't exactly how it goes. This is just him being upfront with what he's heard since the delay. He has heard that there is going to be a general or mini, he doesn't really know, some sort of direct that's supposed to have first party Nintendo stuff in April. Okay. And then there's going to be an Indie World sometime before that. His opinion is probably March, but it's going to be before the direct either way. Okay. That's what he said. And then the Switch 2 will actually be revealed in June, which to me, here's the thing about the June reveal. By the way, Nintendo's done a lot of system reveals in June. It's like a very common month for them, mostly because of E3 in the past. I've been thinking about this June reveal for a bit. And by the way, I actually like the whole April direct thing. If you think about that, you have a partner direct, quickly followed by Pokemon Presents, and then an Indie World next month, and then all of a sudden a big Nintendo Direct in April, and then you skip a month, and boom, just drop the bomb, and here's Switch 2.
We'll be busy playing Endless Ocean in May anyway.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's like to me that we're gonna look back on the first 6, like coming into even now, like if you're not excited about the partner stuff, you're kind of like, man, this has been a really boring news cycle, a really boring Nintendo. All of a sudden, by the time we get to June, we'll look back at the last 6 months and go, damn, Nintendo was just dropping lots of bombs all the first 6 months, even if they weren't dropping the games yet.
That makes sense. Makes sense.
But
I mean, from that perspective, like even if Switch 2 doesn't come out this year, from a news cycle way, like
just knowing about it, there's going to be updates all the time. It's going to be mentioned in every direct moving forward the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And they're going to reveal it with games. They never just don't. They're going to reveal the system with a game or multiple games. So that gives us a lot to talk about. So for my perspective, the YouTube content creator, that's great. I want this all to be true. Yeah. I also would just love it to be revealed in March, which I don't know if Nate the Hate's really the primary one behind it. I don't know if he's provided an update yet, or we'll probably know tomorrow. But the big thing for me with this is also, people talk about, well, if it's revealed in June, then wouldn't it come out this holiday? I'm starting to get off this train of thought that we've had for a while, that Nintendo's doing this whole announce and shortly release 3 to 4 months later. We've been talking about this for a while, like, oh, it works so well with Switch, and this is the way all other technology companies do it. I don't know that Nintendo's actually planning to do that. It very much could be at least a 6-month cycle where they announce in June, and then this is supposed to be 9 months. Say they announce in June, it comes out March 2025. That's 9 months.
That still seems wild to me.
I know, and it does seem wild, but then when you actually go look at Nintendo's history, they're usually doing a year plus It's actually very, very common that they give us more than a year. So I sat there and I'm like, and I know history. What does history even mean? We have a brand new person in charge, and that history hasn't always worked out for Nintendo. We had a year and a half to hype up Wii U, and they failed to do it. So, like, just having time doesn't necessarily mean you can do it. And obviously, we've seen that a lot of these announced really soon really just gets the hype going like crazy. So, to me, as I said, it's hard for me to believe Nintendo would do it, but then also they've been doing it. So, it's kind of like if people are like, well, if it's coming out March, they're not going to reveal till October. That's what I've heard a lot of people say, like, oh, we don't buy this June thing because they're not going to announce it until October. They're going to do the same thing with Switch. Announce October, release in March. And that would be hype and fire as well. But I just think that Nintendo, the one argument I could see where Nintendo maybe wants a longer marketing cycle, at least 9 months or at least 6, maybe 9, possibly a year if it comes out later in 2025, God forbid, would be that Nintendo thinks they want enough time to convince everyone why they need to upgrade from Switch. Because if it comes out in a very similar form factor, looking like it has very similar features, detachable Joy-Cons and tabletop mode, and it's a Switch that you could dock and take with you, but now we have a new fancier dock. Okay, but it's got 4K. Well, okay, people don't care about that. Why should we upgrade? And I understand the exclusive games are obviously that's why we buy systems, right? We buy them for the games, not just just games in general. We buy systems for. But the general consumer often likes to be excited about the tech. And I think Switch provided a very exciting tech argument to build its hype. Yes, Breath of the Wild was a huge factor, but also, hey, did you know you could play on your TV, but then just grab this bad boy and go on a walk with your dog? That was literally the reveal. Grab the dab thing, go on a walk with your dog.
Yeah, it's like, how do they do
you're shooting
the
hoops
iPhone
and you're sitting
model,
on the bench taking a break. Hey, bust this thing out, play this, get home, put it back on your dock and play full screen. So if they don't think there's going to be an easy way to have a convincing technology marketing, maybe they want more time to try to slowly convey that you absolutely want this system just like you wanted Switch.
Yeah, I agree.
And maybe they think they need more time to do that because they want to, some of the things they want to slow roll out are going to be like new features that might not be hardware related, but are easily explainable in a longer marketing thing. Like maybe it's a whole brand new approach to NSO, or maybe it's a whole brand new approach to the eShop, or the UI, or maybe there's like let's say as an example, they bring achievements and they want to make a really big deal out of how achievements work and show people this is why you want achievements and here's what's going to go on, and we're going to actually use our games that are coming with this system to market some of this stuff and give us that long trail marketing that will eventually go, damn, I need this now. Because the biggest thing you'll see, like when they bring out like new phones and stuff, they get people to want them right away. It's not just we already know the next iPhone's coming. Comes the same time every year. Knowing the next Androids and they all come at the same time every single year. We already know this. Yep. But what gets people to want to buy them right away is, even though all the iPhone, like this is like the 14, they all look the same at this point.
Yeah.
But that's not what Apple does in their marketing. They focus on the little things and they make a big deal out of it on this is why you want to upgrade. And I think Nintendo knows that people look at the box, they might just think it's a Switch. I already have one. And they want to go, no. We need time to focus on the little things and make people think these little things are actually a big thing, and they might actually be a big thing.
Yeah,
like maybe as an example,
Pass to,
it could be a Street Pass situation. It could be maybe. I'm just throwing this out here as a possibility. We don't know, but what if we have our traditional dock, but then one of the key features they want to show is that they're actually going to have an accessory that allows you to wirelessly beam it to your TV instead, so you don't even have to get up off the couch to put it on
like an AirPlay or something.
And by the way, this already exists. This technology isn't new. Just it's not popularized, right? It's not a popularized technology yet. So, and again, I'm not. This isn't me saying there won't be a gimmick or something. There'll probably there'll be cameras or something going on. But I just kind of view it as Nintendo's always had a long marketing cycle, and maybe they're just going back to that. And this could be why they feel like they need that marketing cycle to get people used to the idea of, hey, this is the final run for Switch. Enjoy it. We have this thing coming. Be excited. Be hyped. Get your pre-orders in. Again, and this would be obviously we would be arguing for it to come out in 2025. See, this is what I'm saying. Like I'm hopium and copium and reasons, but 2025 is realistic. So
yeah, with the Nintendo Directing and the partner showcase, the indie direct, I think it's very believable. Just because March we already have Princess Peach Showtime, right? So April we have nothing, so they can shadow drop a game there on that Nintendo Direct, and so from that,
yeah, May is Endless Ocean, isn't it? May 2nd.
Then they will announce the rest of the year for Switch, right? Then you know, from that period to November. Then the following in June, then Nintendo Switch 2. I mean, it doesn't seem so far fetched. That's actually
It only seems far fetched if you think it's going to be a short. If you think 2025, but then you also think it's going to be a short marketing cycle, because June short marketing cycle would be September, October, somewhere in there.
Yeah, and I will still put it. I will still put the Switch around.
But I will say this: weren't we just thinking still September, October with it revealed in March?
Yeah.
So like, I don't really know how this is really any different. You're just pushing it back a few months, which is exactly, if you actually think about it, talking about it being shown in June, what's it doing? It's pushing things back 3 months. What's the rumor? The launch has been pushed back 3 months. So isn't this just shifting everything from what we thought it was? You know, just shifting it 3 months.
I agree with that.
The whole thing seems like, and again, this assumes that this is the plan, and as he noted, plans always change.
Yeah.
He's doing the Jeff Grubb thing now because he's like, hey, I've been in this for a long time. I'm not going to give like exact promises. This is just what I've been hearing. What the biggest thing I take away from this is Nintendo has a game plan for the next 6 months. Their game plan is they want to do an indie world, they want to do a direct, they want to reveal Switch 2 sometime in this time period. That's like Nintendo's future announcement plans. So how they do it, when they do it, you know, those kind of particulars can always change.
Yeah, that gives us more time to save, more time to save to buy the Switch.
I gotta save, you know, at least 1,200, maybe more. People, Mike, you wanted to bet me, and I'm like, well, what if I gotta buy a fourth one now? No, because he's confident he's gonna win, and I'm like, okay, then I'm buying a fourth one. Mike. Look, I know I might have like the most subscribers here. How rich do you think I am? How rich do you think I am?
Well, Bama Hut just made you a little more richer with 10
the 10 members. Yeah, Bama Hut's always the go to the gifted members. I swear, man. Shout out Bama Hut, man. Thank you so much for the 10 gifted members. I don't stand. By the way, we do this thing where if there's 10 gifted members or a $50 super chat, I stand for 15 minutes. That doesn't happen here. This set isn't completely ready for that right now when we do our podcast.
I have a new bet. If you win, Bama Hut buys you a Switch. If I win, Bama Hut buys me a Switch.
Whoa, no. Bama Hut gifts another 10. Thank you so much. I told you he's the go to the gifted. I think Bama Hut is just on his own trying to get us all the way up to 600 so we can add new emojis. There's been so many new emoji requests, but there was a time like 2 years ago that we peaked in gifted members and we hit like 575. So I can't add anything until we get to 600. So people are like, do you want more emojis? I'm like, I can't. I'm really sorry.
Do it now.
Anyways, thank you so much, Bama. And look at all those new members. You guys are the latest members of the board of directors of Thunder Prime. I appreciate it. We got to get Thunder Steve back in here. Thunder Steve just keeps popping out. You know, he's planning his little Robotnik plans over there. Getting the robot army ready. So I talked a lot. You guys give me all your thoughts on all these rumors. Remember, Indie World Direct, June reveal.
Flipping table, still there.
Flipping tea table.
Yeah, I would say I don't really have anything to add to that. I mean, I kind of track with and agree with what you're saying. It's like, I mean, we can sit here and say, oh, it's gonna be March, or it's gonna be April, it's gonna be May. Like, I don't know. I've between now and between like March and like summertime, I think we're getting news about it, and something's gonna happen in some sort of time frame. And once that news drops, then that sets the ball rolling, and we all can kind of expect what happens from there.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's just, I don't think, I'm not trying to say like, I mean, if anybody else has like a point that they have to argue on about it, then go for it. But I was just like, I'm like, oh, it's March, it's April. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would prefer if the Switch was in 24, but Nintendo's doing a thing. So
Mike was trying to pressure Bama. He said, now, no free Switch 2 yet.
Oh,
boy.
Whoa. He's
Just see how
like,
much
"All
it
right,
costs first.
Thank you for humoring me, Batman. Thank you for playing.
watch it be like $200, and he's like, oh yeah, don't worry about it.
But on Switch 2 thing, I still think if it's revealed or announced this year, coming out this year. That's where I stand.
Okay.
Same year where it appears. I mean, it might be wrong, but
Well, what are we thinking over there, Steve? I see you pondering.
I'm still on that 24 bus
Yeah.
until proven otherwise.
Yeah.
And I say proven otherwise, even though there's no proof anywhere, obviously, of when it's coming out. But just gut feeling, everything we've been leading up to it, the amount of games that have been announced, everything just feels like it's going to be 2024. I got to hear from Nintendo to really believe 2025. And as far as this timeline for the indie world, the general direct, and the Switch 2 reveal, maybe it sounds right. It does. I think it's great. We got the Pokemon next week, and like you said, having the indie world, then the general direct in April, and a Switch 2 reveal in June. I feel like that's got some pretty good momentum behind it.
I like it.
But if we get Switch 2
I
reveal in
will
June,
say-
it's coming out this year, I think.
the big question.
Yeah.
The big question is, when do we see the price drop?
That is the big question.
Holiday.
That's a
Day
big
of
question.
or-
Yeah.
If
Will be
Switch 2 is not this year, holiday.
So if they announce Switch 2 June, then holiday season.
I think if they announce Switch 2 in June, they'll drop the price sooner. If there is no
Yeah.
Switch 2 announced this year, then they will drop it this holiday.
And so
Because Nintendo, look, we'll know a lot more in May.
Mhm.
That's when they do their financial briefing, and then they give us the projections for the next fiscal year. And like I look, maybe I'm nuts, but I think Nintendo's going to project 7 million or less Switches sell in the next fiscal year. And I know it's crazy dropping for 15, and they just upped their project. I'm like, yeah, I understand. They just upped it by 500,000 because they sold a little bit more during the holiday season than they expected, but it was still down year over year. And Nintendo right now doesn't have a hype game to push. And there's all this stuff swirling about Switch 2. And I kind of think Nintendo might be finally hitting that point of look at our lineup, a bunch of remasters, like even the third parties, a bunch of remasters. We're kind of just hitting the end point, and I think Nintendo knows it. And that also might support why they would announce it in June, just knowing that, hey, we just know we're not going to sell a lot of these no matter what we do. So let's just start hyping the next thing. But that's me. May will be telling. Maybe Nintendo will project we're going to sell 10 million because they always. Here's the thing: Nintendo's projections are based on things we don't know about. Like what they're planning to do that we don't know. So that projection is going to tell me a lot. So we'll see what happens then.
The only reason I go for Switch 2 reveal same year, release same year, is what the president said. Trevor Rukawa, he said he didn't want that cliff. He wants to transition and to continue the momentum from one console to another. So that's the entire reason. But Nintendo has lied to us before. They're not angels. Devils.
All right. Anyone else have anything to add, or we'll just get to the fan topics?
Yeah, I was just gonna say one thing. I still think about Paper Mario, 1,000-Year Door.
Yep.
Can't
And
wait.
those screenshots, with the colored buttons.
Bringing that color button theory around, baby.
Well, yeah, wasn't it that? And what about was it Ease Nordics? Didn't they have a
We've
screenshot?
had like
There's
6
several.
games or something now at this point with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at least 5.
Just feels
Yeah.
like it's near. Things are near. The
People are like,
Switch 2's
oh, the
gotta
next
be
big
near.
Nintendo Direct. What if they drop colored buttons on a bunch of their games? And I'm like, oh, okay.
I mean,
Until we see Switch 2 with color buttons, it doesn't mean anything. It's just a theory. But
yeah, I'm not on board with that
Okay.
color button thing, but I do agree that they might release an edition.
I
of
will
that.
note, I did not see colored buttons on Endless Ocean.
They were all blue, like the ocean.
Yeah.
But
If we're done with the Switch topic, I think it'd be useful to touch on I don't know, do we care enough about the Elden Ring trailer, the Elden Ring DLC?
I'll be there day one.
I'm gonna switch.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
we were talking about coming to Switch 2? Absolutely.
Or just the fact like
I
its
think
existence, Elden Ring itself.
I haven't played much of Elden Ring, but I did live stream the trailer, and I'll just say it looks awesome.
It looks
Yeah.
so
As
fucking
someone
cool.
who I haven't even beat Elden Ring. So like I was like, I know that if I beat Elden Ring, this would probably be like super fucking hype. But instead it just kind of reminds me of more of a game I haven't played much of yet.
So PS5.
Yeah.
Because I have so much to look forward to in Elden Ring still, you know, like I have so much
Yeah.
epicness there.
I
So,
mean, this game, this looks like the DLC. That's what's exciting me about it is it looks like almost a Tears of the Kingdom kind of thing where it looks like it's adding new areas and then also revamping the old areas because they were showing a lot of footage of they were showing a lot of footage of old areas with new enemies and new things. And so it makes me think that I think the deal, this is my theory, and I think this is what's very, kind of evident in the trailer is that it's like once when you become the Elden Lord or whatever, the shadow of the Erd Tree descends upon the land, and I think everything in the land changes, and then you might have like new areas and all that kind of stuff. So that I'm really excited for because then that makes the whole overworld become a new, as I say, you make the whole overworld that is there, re-explorable and redoable again, but then you also have new areas that'll be really cool and new bosses and everything else. But yeah, that's all I wanted to add.
I still haven't played it yet. So recommended system. What do you recommend playing on? I
played it on PC. Because all I have is PC and Switch. I don't have like a Xbox or a PlayStation anymore. Just ever since I got my PC. So I'm always PC master race. Like if you can get it on PC, get it on PC.
Yeah.
But I hear it's pretty good on PS5. Yeah, it's a great experience on PS5. That was my second choice.
Is it on sale? I'm gonna get it if it's on sale because it's been a while, right?
Yeah. Well, have you played it? Like, have you played it before? No,
I don't even own it. I don't own it yet. So,
dude, it is. Well, have you ever played a Soulsborne game? That's another question.
No.
So if you don't like a game being very challenging, like if it's if you like a challenge, oh, you'll love this. If you like Breath of the Wild / like open world kind of vibe, and then you like a challenge, like these games will challenge you. Okay. Like they will test your mettle and your mental health.
people break their controllers over the Souls games.
I playing this one, there was one boss I left a dent in my desk. It was bad. It was. Anyways, they're always infamous for that, but this one is just like it's so well designed in terms of its like world building and like lore, but then also just like how many different classes there are and like different ways you can play this game. Like you can be a mage and just press the win button, and like I say the press the win button, but you still have to have like skill and dodge things. Or you can be, my build that I did was I was a double katana samurai, and I would like one of my katanas would do this thing where like on the first strike it would fucking like whip out like how like in Skyward Sword where you like hold it up and you flick it and it like does like a beam of energy. It would do that, but like I'd just be standing there and then I would like all of a sudden whoosh, and then I get the second one out and it had like a bleed. It's just a really cool, like you can build so many really cool like characters. It's very almost like anime-esque where it's like you have all these crazy things and there's like melee, you can learn melee techniques and I don't know. Anyways, I just very exciting.
It really is amazing.
It's a feat. It is a feat of gaming. I would say it's like one of the best games of all time. Like it is up there with if not the best game of all time. Anyways, that's my praise on Elden Ring and my piece about the DLC. The DLC looks really cool. I'm excited. Andre, yeah.
Taking you in, buddy. What's up?
Hey. No, just going back to the Switch 2 thing. I didn't really talk about it. I was waiting.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry.
We're good. No, it's still an interesting thing because I think, as you guys were saying, like we really don't know what the hell's going on. There's too much.
Yeah.
There's too many variables right now. I feel like the safest assumption, just because of the reputable, just how reputable all these sources are, we probably should assume early 2025. But just to throw a little bit of fire to the hopium copium, train. Something I noticed during the partner showcase today is that a particular game that was really fueling the summer speculation of a Switch 2 launch was Curious purposely delayed, even though they already knew the release date. They already
It was
knew
summer,
it was already
yeah.
set in stone, and it was
For
summer.
summer. Yep.
Yeah.
Right. So let me explain exactly what's going on. So Fantasy Life I, during the Visions, it's like basically their version of their own version of a Nintendo Direct, right? When they were talking about their different games. Fantasy Life I, they said that the game was coming in summer, and they actually also said that they have a specific release date in mind, but they are not revealing it due to strategic reasons, which is very curious. But it became more curious because also they talked about how it's coming to Nintendo Switch, but they also said something along the lines of other console to be determined, something like that. There's a little bit of a translation issue there, but something to that effect, right? So a lot of people were really kind of speculating, oh, is this tied to Switch 2 in some way, right? And before these recent reports, a lot of people were really buying into the idea that we could see a September launch, which technically first 3 weeks of September fall under the summer window, right? So that was kind of like the interesting conversation. Now, Fantasy Life on its own is not that big of a deal, right? It's a cool game. You know, a lot of people enjoyed it back on 3DS. And the idea wouldn't be that Fantasy Life is like this big Switch 2 launch title. But the idea actually is that Nintendo's going to launch a bevy of games at launch, as they typically do, right? Switch is the exception, right? And so now that Nintendo's kind of proven that the Switch family is good for third-party support, there could be a series of games that are actually meant to come out as an initial wave, right? And so now, Fantasy Life, after this recent reports that have come out about a pushback, right, of Switch 2, it's now coming out October and no longer summer, even though they knew the exact date. They knew the exact date, and October, by no stretch of the imagination, is summer. September is a stretch. Summer, not a stretch. Summer is just, October is not a stretch. It's just not. It's fall. It's fall. So something weird has happened there, right? And so, I'm just kind of throwing it out there. Like, what if what if a fall release is still in the cards? I don't believe it. I want to believe it, but I don't believe it. So I'm just kind of putting it out there, though. It's
I
interesting.
believe it. I believe it.
Load it out there. Order the other. All right. Let's go ahead and get into the Q&A, guys. If you want to submit questions, again, $2 and up super chats. We already have a few in here. This question is probably more for me, coming from Rory. Great panel as always. Well, thank you. The panel is wonderful. Will Joycey J be on the panel next time? She comes on for Zelda. And I don't think Zelda is going to be a topic for quite some time unless something crazy happens.
Yeah, she's also not loud enough to replace Eric.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But she is on the topic podcast on Friday nights if you want to.
No, there you go.
There you go. There you go.
Wait, who? Oh, is this a Oh, geez.
She's one of the moderators from our chat, but she comes on frequently for
Yeah.
stuff. We had a $5 super chat coming from Venata 712. An unrelated question. Been playing Octopath Traveler finally. If you've played it, who did you choose as your first traveler?
I haven't played it.
I played.
That's more talking than usual.
I played like the first 2 characters, and I started with the banker guy.
I'm trying to get the exact name.
Well, about years back when it first came out, the first demo for the original Octopath Traveler, I remember playing as the girl that's like a dancer prostitute or something.
Oh, I played. This is
Primrose. Primrose.
Is that what she is? Yeah,
I think
years
it's
ago.
Primrose. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to go back to them though. I want to.
I played whoever the healer one chick was. Hold on, I'm trying to look up the exact character. It's sad. I'm really mad that I don't remember the character names.
Yeah,
this actually upsets me.
For me, Octopath Traveler
Ophelia.
on my back.
Ophelia. That's who it was.
I played it yet. Looking forward to playing it soon.
That was my first character that I played. Obviously, you use all of them.
Go back and play that.
It's great. Now there's a second one. There's technically a prequel on phones.
Pretty cool. Yeah, they're there. Yeah.
Steve,
this question is definitely for me. Patrick Muller. How are you, Nate? I am very busy. Someone actually noticed on a thing I did today. Do you ever not work? You seemingly are crazy lately. My schedule is insane at the moment. I don't know when it's going to stop being insane, but it is what it is. Let's see here. We got Projo 210 says, does Nintendo have one major Switch title release? Are you talking about for this year?
One more.
Or one more for this year? Maybe?
Like if it's Nintendo
general?
first party, no.
It's because
But
that's
you
my
could
question
maybe
on what's
argue
major.
Yeah, I must say you could maybe argue Pokemon. That's probably the
Yeah.
only thing I would say.
Yeah, Pokemon's
Pokemon's
one that
pretty
we
major.
pretty sure are gonna get. Like we're probably
Yeah.
gonna get Pokemon.
But if you're talking like in-house Nintendo,
I think
Metro
Metro
Prime 4.
I think Metro Prime 4.
if at all, it'd be Prime 4.
If it still exists, I don't think it exists. I think it's
Look, the funny
it's-
thing is, I understand like why some people want it to just be like wait for Switch 2 because it'll be a better version of it.
yeah.
Look, they announced this game in 2017.
For Switch.
Just show it to me, please. I don't even care if it's not coming out till 2030. Show me the game. Can we
Show
see
me
it
it.
this year, please?
I think we have to see it this year no matter what. There's no way we don't see it this year.
Like, I just need to see it. I'm tired of the rumors. I'm tired of the digging through
Exactly.
hype stuff, trying to piece things together. Like, look, I love you, Super Metal Dave. It's getting old when some of you guys, get sick of the Switch 2 rumors, sick of this. Okay, well, I'm sick of talking about Metroid Prime 4 only in the context of hypotheticals based on high-reads stuff or what's listed on a profile. How about, like, let's just see a game? It's been... Dude, we're getting to the point where if it doesn't come out till next year or doesn't get revealed till next year, I start to go, man, we're only 2 years away from this being announced a decade ago.
Don't be
Yeah.
surprised if Retro Studios will try to recruit you in the game. You put Metro Prime 4 up, and they'll try, hey, come work with us and work on finishing this game.
I liken this to probably people that were waiting for the Shadow of the Colossus sequel all those years because it was announced like a decade before it came out.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Those poor people.
Oh man.
What else we got?
Anyways, any other major release title we think may happen besides Pokemon or Metroid?
I'm
Donkey
going to go
Kong's
ahead
an
and
option.
I'm going to go on the hype train and say, who said it? The Ocarina of Time remake.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
what I'm
maybe.
feeling, man.
Hopium. That's some hopium there.
Yeah.
That's some
Yeah.
opium.
You know me, I'm
I just
always
wanna
on there.
You know, I
I'm
hope
gonna-
it works for you.
Yeah.
I mean, go ahead.
I'm gonna be that guy. Sorry, but I'm a fighter for Ocarina of Time remake. But the reason I think Ocarina of Time remake makes sense is because historically speaking, Nintendo remasters remakes of Zelda early on for a new console. That's why you do it, to bring in the Zelda fans when you don't have a new Zelda ready, because we just got Tears of the Kingdom. So putting it on Switch 1, I don't expect it. I'd love to be wrong though. Actually, no, I don't want to be wrong because I want to see Ocarina of Time if this
I think
is a
I
thing,
do too.
as good as possible. That's the idea behind
Yeah.
it. So, but Endless Ocean, that's a new Nintendo game, right? And
How
so,
about-
let's not sleep on games like these.
Flip the tea tables.
Like Nintendo can announce more things like that. What if we get like a Kid Icarus game?
Yeah, it'd be great.
Oh,
know?
Kid Icarus
God.
Uprising even would be sick. I don't know if I call it
Yeah.
major because it's still not like a new game. Because
Yeah.
What if we get Switch 2 this year? I mean, we get Switch 2 this year. And clearly we're getting
Whoa.
Well, there we
some
go.
Nintendo games.
there we go.
Clearly we're getting 3D Mario, right?
I put this out here because I'm curious because it always comes up in my chat. Who's people's favorite food?
I answered that
Do you-
right after that.
Brand or like type?
Whatever, either or, both.
I would say Mexican food is probably.
Yeah, I'm such a slut for some Tex-Mex, bro. Get that nice good queso
Yeah.
and just
Me, Hispanic foods. I say Hispanic foods because I can't do my Puerto Rican food. You know, 'cause
Yeah.
it's the best for me. But I say Hispanic foods and Chinese.
Italian
Yeah.
and Mexican for sure.
I should say Asian food because I like Japanese too. So
We just can't decide.
Yeah, you
How
can't beat
often do you
a,
really
a
think
nice
about it?
JBBQ, man. That's also really, or like a hot pot. Oh my god, that's so good. Now I'm just getting hungry. Sorry, chat. We're getting hungry.
Well, Eric, what's your The funny thing is, I super chatted this, and I'm on a diet and can't eat like 99% of the shit we're
Right.
talking about right now. Eric, what's yours?
Italian. Give me
Italiano.
pasta and
The
pizza.
pasta's good. I get it. I get it, man. I
Look,
get
I'm
it.
just gonna straight up say,
What's yours name?
I'm just gonna, you know what? Fuck it. It's Chipotle.
Chipotle.
There you go.
It's
That
just
is
straight
a
up
form of
Chipotle.
Tex-Mex. Is it? Is it not? Is it definitely lower on the totem pole of Tex-Mex?
it is.
100%.
It is.
But-
you know what gets me? You know what gets me with it? It's
Yeah.
that damn red hot chili sauce.
Yeah,
I
that
love
is
that
good.
shit.
I
That
do.
shit
I
is
get that
so
every
good.
time. Well, the nice thing with Chipotle for me is it's like if I need something fast, but I don't want the grease of fast food, like it's literally like it's literally the best healthy fast option you can get out there, unless you go to like a salad place like Chopped or Sweet Green or something like that.
Yeah.
Like
Salads.
or Panera. That's the only like healthy fast food I can think of. Which and I like it's good and it's also like good. I mean, it's fresh and they haven't had
they you watch them literally cook it right there, right on the hot stove. It's nice.
So
Hibachi.
I mean,
hibachi.
Yeah, I don't mind hibachi.
Hibachi is cool.
I don't know. No, the thing is, I like so many different foods, and right now on my very strict diet, everything sounds amazing right now. I mean, dude, I could probably even eat a Whopper, and I don't even like Burger King, so I'm just nope, not talking about. All right, why did I make this topic? Obviously, just showing one of Bama Hut's 10 gifted, just to say thanks again, man. You gifted 20 tonight. I appreciate it. Boo Many comes in. Good seeing you all. Great podcast tonight.
Hi,
Thank you
Boo.
so much.
Thank you, Boo Many.
Hope you guys like my
Appreciate
cold open. I know
And
it's
then we
kind
had
of not
a
on brand.
10 minute, $10. One in from Mr. Flicko4 says, hello. Of course, nothing is official until Nintendo themselves says it's 2025. I love this. Or Pioro. Pioro is basically considered it. Dude, I have an image. I made this chart. I don't use it anymore. But there's a leaker ranking chart I made at one point this year. And at the very top, it says basically Nintendo. And the only person there is Pioro. I think it's the way a lot of people think. He's basically Nintendo. Anyways, besides marketing, the question they ask is, what else do you think can be holding up the release date or even an announcement?
I won't even lie to you. Not to get political for a second, but literally microchips in Taiwan and the geopolitical strains between China and Taiwan.
That was on my list.
And also them pulling like they're like a lot of NVIDIA and a lot of like microchip manufacturing is getting pulled to the United States because of how risky that investment is. So that transition could also affect that. And I mean, isn't the Switch run on an NVIDIA board? Am I wrong? It runs on an NVIDIA board.
Tegra X1.
Yeah,
I
I think the new one is also rumored to run on NVIDIA. So yeah, that's like in terms of like a logistical, like real world thing that could stop it. That's probably my number one thing. If it does, I don't think it will.
If it really has, it's all like we know if it really has something to do with it.
I was say, we don't, and if that even happens like within the time frame of production, I don't know. But that's like the only thing.
And like they could have literally been making parts this whole time, and it's just mass assembly.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
anyways, that was not to be political, but I was political.
Yeah, I'll be political. The Illuminati.
Oh, there you go.
I'm gonna go deeper. I'm gonna say Florida and the Gators and the swamp.
I thought you were going to say Florida people in general.
The Illuminati riding the Florida Gators.
Florida and
the fact that I learned through GTA 6's trailer that women are literally going out the sunroof and shaking ass.
Yeah,
dude, this is like a.
I don't know. South. We're down south. That's like
as someone who lives in Miami.
Yeah, that's
where the game is based off of. I find the trailer a little offensive, but also probably somewhat true.
Scarily accurate. Yeah.
So you're offended, but you're like, I'm offended because it's true.
You're right.
Well, the thing. Okay, so the thing is, it's none of it's false. It's just kind of showcasing things that
the worst
you don't
parts
see every day, right?
Well,
like
also aren't
or like the crazy, but it's also a video game. Like you're going to show the crazy.
I've never seen a gator in my life, right? It's not like I go in my backyard, I'm like, oh man, there was a gator attacking me. That's never happened. You don't really see gators in the suburbs unless you're like in the waterworks.
Turn on the news. The Florida news, there's gators every day. Like just
chopping them. And you want to know what happens every day? Attack. Murder. Have you been murdered? No.
Gators.
Well, I don't really know.
Damn.
I think I'm good. I think he is straight up said he's a little bit offended by that trailer. So it is what it is.
Anyway,
he wants something positive from Miami shown.
It's down there.
I mean, it depends on what you define as positive.
Yeah.
Here we go. There probably is a lot of positive depending on how
Yeah.
you define it.
Yeah, Orlando's Orlando. The rest is just like a swamp.
Yeah. I will
Anyways.
be in Orlando in June. Briefly.
Nice.
What
Briefly.
All right, so announcing Nate as a guest at the Topic Podcast, straight from the studio here at the office.
Well,
You
no.
went on a cruise, right? You went on a cruise with Julia, right?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So anyone else have any other theories, ideas?
I blame Florida.
I just agree with what you were saying as well. I think part of
If-
me wonders if Nintendo's watching real closely just what's going on with the world, but I don't want to discuss, and I will not discuss politics.
So I
I
only got
also-
two.
I
I got
guess.
two theories, like two actual theories that have nothing to do with the Illuminati, because I don't believe that at all. One theory
Okay, not
is
to- Not
it,
I was
it,
once
it,
murdered.
it is just that it's not so much one particular game, because Nintendo has a really good development pipeline. It's just Nintendo trying to basically set up the best possible lineup of all time for 2025, and it had just have a cadence, right? A banger after banger after banger. And so that's the only that's maybe the explanation. I mean, also, as Flam was saying, there could be some issues with production, but I feel like that's not the case. From everything we've heard, it seems like everything's right on time. And so the only other thing I could think is that, well, the reports are wrong.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
But because they're reputable, I'm gonna be like, well, they're probably not wrong, and it's probably just Nintendo wanting to.
But we
have
can
the most
always remind
ideal
everyone,
lineup.
the
ready.
same outlets, Switch Pro.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Didn't happen. Now, to be fair, I'm pretty sure
Plans
it did
changed.
exist. I'm sure it did exist.
Mm-hmm.
But there were some of these outlets being like, this thing's being revealed like now. And
Yeah, the part that gets
doesn't
me is
happen.
I remember they were saying that they were getting devs all excited, like they want OLED to be announced before E3 because they want to show, like, well, they want Pro because of there was going to be like dev showcasing like E3
games and stuff.
games and like that was right beforehand. It just feels weird that they would have been able to pull that out. Like,
the only way I could see, maybe there was a lot of indications from Nintendo back then that they were planning to show it at E3 or something. So then, like, the devs could get all their stuff out, and that's why all that stuff was happening in the couple of weeks lead up. And then maybe that's when it came across Nintendo's desk, like, hey, factories are maxed out. We can't make your part. Like, maybe that's when they got the news from the factories that, hey, we're not gonna be able to actually make your parts to do this. And Nintendo had to make like this hard cut, like super fast decision, like, okay, we can't do this now. We got to pivot to something else. And that's when they with Switch OLED, because they probably already had the panels. They probably already had like even the new chassis, and like they probably already had some of that stuff already being made. The thing they were waiting on was the chips, and then they're like, yeah, we can't. Like you're not gonna be able to get this. Like the delay for your chips is like a year or 2 years from now, and then Nintendo might have had to like make a quick decision. And I feel like it'd be weird to have to make a quick decision, but that pandemic time was very strange for every company that was making technology stuff. Like they all had to make some very weird decisions. So it wouldn't be surprising if that actually was the plan and Nintendo communicated it, and then they found out that like, hey, we're just not gonna be able to do this for you. And they're like, oh shit. And it just happened to be around E3 when they found out. Like that would be a very awkward for Nintendo. You're planning to showcase stuff, and then all of a sudden, by the way, we can't make your shit. What?
Well, especially during
We're
COVID
literally
times,
about to announce shit in like a week. What are we talking about? Hard pivot.
Anyways,
but again, this is all like behind the scenes stuff. We're not really gonna know. The only thing I know, or I shouldn't say no, that I have extreme confidence in is that Switch Pro dev kits existed.
Yeah,
that was a thing. That they actually were in developers' hands.
No, real quick question: do you think if the Switch Pro did come out, would that have saved E3? I mean,
literally kept it alive.
I mean, to a certain extent, though. I mean, without having the Switch Pro there,
I think E3 died because
it took away a lot of possibilities.
Well, and Nintendo went
last
last at that show.
Nintendo had a good show.
It was still pretty solid. Yeah,
it wasn't bad. It was actually one of their better showings.
But they went at the end. I feel like, and maybe that was the thing. Maybe they were going to go at the beginning and originally reveal the Switch Pro, and then that would carry all these other shows because they'd be showing off all these games. Maybe That's one of the reasons. Maybe that's one of the reasons Ubisoft went with Walking Simulator for the whole time, because they were planning a bunch of Switch Pro stuff, and they're like, "Oh, now we can't do that." So, well, shit.
No.
Walking Simulator, and what was the one? They showed the one game a lot.
Because I know there was
The Guardians of the Galaxy game. They showed that one a lot.
Yeah.
And that one ended up being
was-
okay. It wasn't a bad game. Just
Yeah.
you know, it wasn't the showstopper they were hoping it was going to be. But I think that's because Ubisoft's running this thing where all their games just kind of feel the same.
The other thing though, like what would have happened if they did Switch Pro? Like, how would that have changed the trajectory of the the Switch lifespan and the games we would have saw? Like,
I think it would have. I don't think it would have changed. Like, I still think if it came out, what was it? It was supposed to come out in 2021, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's when we got OLED.
Yeah, because that was the last E3. That's right. Yeah, that's when all the. So I think what would have happened is Switch 2 for sure would have been 2025 out the gate. That would have been the game plan. 2025, where we're adding an extra year for sure. And I do think that what they saw, because if you look at it, Switch OLED quickly took over as the best selling thing, and all it's offering is an OLED screen, right? Like, it's not like a huge thing. This thing probably would have
that horizontal panel maximizes tabletop mode.
Yeah, no, that
it does.
thing
It
is-
does. It does.
that-
It
that-
does.
Yes, that thing.
But
is
I do think that because like Sony, when they dropped the PlayStation 4 Pro, its sales weren't like amazing, and they didn't really even overtake the base PlayStation 4 in month-over-month sales. But I think Nintendo has seen with like the new 3DS that instantly became the best-selling system. Everyone upgraded. They saw with the DSi, that one didn't do that. That was more like a PlayStation thing. So I liken this to if the Switch Pro would have had better looking games and would have been able to play some older games better. I think that Nintendo would have actually been able to extend the life, because they would have been able to do something that they can't do right now. And that is sell people another system. There's a lot of people I know that still haven't upgraded to an OLED because it's the same system.
Yeah.
But if it would have been more powerful and added more, made the games actually look better, and you can argue the OLED screen does that, but I mean, even on your TV, make it look better, then I think that would have literally, at that point, I mean, how many systems did they sell at that point?
Yeah.
I mean, they were like 80, 90 million.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been like, hey, we potentially have 50 million of these people that might want to upgrade. And suddenly the system's way past 150 million in sales.
Yeah.
So-
I need to upgrade.
So I do think that it could have extended the life an extra year. And then I mean, even now, look, Switch 2 might not come out till 2025, but imagine that people aren't bitching as much because we already had an upgraded Switch.
Yeah.
People
Yes,
might be
yeah.
more patient as well. Like in the marketplace, we'd be more understanding of a 2025 release.
Yeah.
Switch
So-
only kind of killed Switch Lite sales because people wait, we can play a mobile with the OLED screen and bring it in. That was the only add-on, right? The OLED.
Yeah, I mean, Switch's Lite's prospect was always a more durable system because it doesn't have the Joy-Con thing for kids.
Right? For
And
kids,
to be cheaper for parents. That was kind of the sell.
Mhm.
And what we've discovered, and Nintendo has put out there, that most people who play Switch are actually adults, and the Switch Lite's been the worst selling one ever since it came out.
Yeah.
So
yeah, my
turns
two-
out that maybe kids, I don't know, kids are
Not being
unpalatable.
able to dock kills the light.
I agree.
my two girls have
Zero interest.
They both have lights, and they could care less about docking.
Yeah, my kids don't really
Right.
care about docking either.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you guys have kids. I know adults that have lights and are like, oh yeah, I kind of wish I could dock it.
Yeah.
Sure,
That's what I'm
but I'm
saying.
saying that like the light
Yeah.
market was, I think, supposed to be for kids. That was the
Yeah.
point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. It literally instantly came out with a bunch of fun colorways. Like
Sure.
they were
Yeah.
clearly like it was clearly intended for kids, but
Yeah,
And
I
I
get
asked
that.
my daughters, you guys want the OLED because it's better? Oh no, I like my light better because they can.
But I'll
put it in
also
the-
say this: most Nintendo handhelds have a way to play on the TV during a generation.
oh, here we go. Here we
They
go.
can-
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Switch Lite couldn't do that. So
I don't think
Yeah.
that would have been a major selling point for the handhelds over the years. but you're not wrong.
I just think that it takes value away from it, right? Like it's kind of like, yeah, it's $200, but also
it's a
only
Switch
gives
that
you half-
doesn't switch.
It doesn't. It only gives you half the experience. So it's not a good value proposition.
Also, I will say this: all of my kids have a normal Switch. I think I'm the only one in the house with an OLED one. And They had lights at one point. They got stolen. This is what it is. But so they have regular switches now. They don't really take anywhere out of the house unless it's a family vacation thing. And one thing they've started to appreciate once they got off the lights, and I didn't think about this much because I don't like it, is they literally play multiplayer games all the time together on the TV, and they just use the split Joy-Cons. They don't even care. And like all of us bitch about it, like, oh, they're too small, they're too cumbersome. They're not.
Yeah, but when your kids
love
hands
it.
are smaller.
Yeah, kids just love it. They don't even care. They don't get their hands don't get cramped. They just have fun.
Yep, I agree.
So
I agree.
So I guess the thing, like, we always got to remember, not every feature is intended for all of us. But I'm pretty satisfied with Switch the way it is, and hopefully satisfied with Switch 2 when it comes out. All right, well, that's going to be it, I think, unless Eric, you had something to add to that?
Good.
No other reason. All right, cool. Well, that's all the questions we had today. Thank you guys so much for being here at the Nintendo Prime Podcast Season 2, Episode 60. Before we go around the room quick, I'm just going to drop one little nugget. I am slowly working on plans to revamp the podcast and potentially launch Season 3 with some changes. So stay tuned for that. I'm still.
I don't even know about this.
No, Eric doesn't even know about it. This is very new. I talked to Andres about it a smidge like months ago, but some stuff I still got to figure out. But anyways, one thing I will say about the podcast, the new version, it will be shorter. So for those that are like, oh man, it's really long. I know it's really long. It's been really long for a long time.
Honestly,
We're not gonna be like a 1 hour show. That's not the plan. There's plenty of 1 hour.
It'll be 3 hours.
It won't be 3 hours, but it's gonna be very. It's not gonna change what you know and love. It's just gonna. You'll see. Every time we've done a new season, it's always been because there's been a significant change to the show. So, anyways, thank you guys so much for being here. Let's go ahead and throw it around the room. Say who you are and where they can find you. Let's start with who we started with originally, Mr. Thunder Steve.
What's up, guys? So you can find me at Thunder Steve 85 Gaming on YouTube. Again, I review video games, and everywhere else, Thunder Steve 85, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok. I think that's all the main ones. Thanks, guys.
I'm interested in that collection back there. You have a room tour?
Dude, it's massive, man. It's massive. And I got like 23 arcade games in the house.
What? You have
I have to do a room tour video.
Sure,
I haven't done one.
Yes, you really do.
Yes, you do.
That video would pop off.
I got this, and then I got my barcade in my house.
Oh,
so I gotta.
Oh man,
you have a bar arcade in your house.
Party at Steve's house.
Where are you located in the state?
Yeah.
Arizona.
Where are you located? We all got to do an in-person podcast at Steve's house.
You guys are welcome over whenever you want.
In-person podcast at Steve's house, and then we'll just
Party.
Hey, we'll have an after party, a literal after party.
We can go to a Brewer spring training game. Hell
Yeah. I'll be there.
Man. All right. Andres and Ruby. What do you guys got going on? Where can they find you guys?
Well, you can find us in a house somewhere in Miami, West Kendall, even. But I don't think that counts as doxing myself.
People start knocking every door in that area. Right. Good luck. It's gonna be a while.
Millions of houses.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's a lot of houses. Yeah, I talk about Nintendo every day. And
I love how unexcited Andres feels every time I tell him to advertise his channel. He's just like, yeah, don't watch. I just talk Nintendo.
I might quit YouTube and start work at a zoo with the monkeys too.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Yeah, switch to Blade. Damn it, my life's over.
Yeah, that's a rewarding career. You can name the monkeys like Mario.
Yeah. Not real talk. I feel I may seem kind of tired now because it's been a long day. We did get up very early for live stream.
Oh so, very early day today.
Yeah. And I still made a video after. There was a long live stream and then the video. Now this.
So, yeah, I did. I've done. It's my fourth live stream today, technically. Plus,
I also had a pretty rough weekend, and by rough, I'm not like a good weekend, but like I would make content. Then because it was a weekend where it was a wedding with my friends, so like we did something like every night. So it was kind
of still haven't had time to really recover.
So is it?
No, because there's too much going on right now.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Yeah. The last week has been nuts, and I don't know when it's going to slow down. We got Pokemon next.
I kind of wish I didn't do my direct review video because I knew that was going to be a smaller audience video, and now there's several topics I want to discuss, but I feel like I've only been doing the 1 video a day thing. I spent a little bit more time on them. Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. But anyway, I talk about Nintendo. I got Metroid stuff planned. Multiple Metroid videos planned, I guess. I don't know, there's stuff happening. But if not, I'll quit YouTube and work with the monkeys.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Mike.
Hello.
I didn't think I had to say anything else. I figured you just start talking. Mike. No, you already said who you are. What do you got going on? Where can they find you?
You can find me here on Mike Odyssey on YouTube, Mike Odyssey YT on Instagram and Twitter, Twitter. And so Monday to Friday content, daily news. Friday nights we have the Nintopics podcast at 8:30 p.m. And what else do I have going on? Well, I am in the middle of launching a brand new show. Hopefully it's coming out, maybe first episode on Monday. It's going to replace my news episode. Obviously, news is dying. And I'm doing something brand new on the channel, which is still news related, but it's just new style because we have to evolve with YouTube. YouTube is changing. Yeah, YouTube is changing. We have to change with YouTube. So that, I've been doing this for already 4 years, same format, changing everything, building, restructuring it again. I know I've changed this like 20 times already, but brand new show coming up. Can't wait to kind of show you guys what's it about, and it'll be really cool. So excited for the future.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I'm not actually quitting YouTube. That's a joke.
Yeah.
I may seem really tired right now, but I'm actually lately I've actually been feeling very inspired, and I think we're
we're so much going on now. We went from like nothing to like it's like an overload almost. It's crazy.
We're in the wave. We're in the wave now again. Like from
where we're kind of in the upswing of like some stuff. We're not quite where we want to be, but there's now from where we were a month ago. This feels like refreshing.
Yeah.
For as a content creator, for ideas for things like, dude, I got discussion ideas. Dude, I got a whole notebook page full of discussion ideas that I wrote down earlier today, and I'm like, dude, why is this happening now? Why is everything just like flowing now? And a month ago, I'm like,
a month ago was January.
We'll have a direct in February, guys.
I would say 3 months ago, I was struggling to keep the at 200 subscribers per month. We're at 1,700 per month in climbing, so we're going to the wave now. It's happening.
Yep, taking it to the moon. Eric,
yeah. I'm
what do you want more of?
I don't know. You should put it. So I'm here except for the next 2 weeks. So
and over on the Xverse at emo8790 as well.
Yep, I'll read it.
Yep, he'll read it.
And hard
might even like it if you really
might laugh.
Yeah, he might laugh. Might drop hearts on Twitter. It might drop a little heart if it's like real funny.
Yeah.
I like that one. Or he'll send it to me.
Yeah. Yeah, or I'll send it.
That'll definitely get sent to me.
Yeah.
All right. For Lamb, Mr. Nintendo Simp.
Of course, you can find me on Twitch. That's where my primary stuff is. I'm a little Twitch streamer, variety Nintendo content. Tomorrow I'm hosting a Smash tournament, actually. So it's open to everybody, anyone and everybody. $50 eShop gift card if you win. So come and test your mettle. Friday I got Mario Party. I like to do this concept called Mario Party But, where I take Mario Party. I say, okay, we're going to play this Mario Party game, but last place is first place, or the computer's really, really hard, or we're going to switch places every turn, or stuff like that. So we'll either hack it or do whatever. Excuse me. Sorry. I don't want to hack it about it, but yeah. But the thing, if you follow anything today or whatever, please follow my YouTube channel. We are so close from getting monetized. Like we're like 30 subs short of being monetized. So yeah,
dude, we have 150 watching live right now. What are you doing? Go click the link down below.
Hold on,
subscribe to that channle.
I'm actually posting like long form videos now, so I have like a decent catalog of long form. I have a shit ton of shorts you can watch. Like we've been cranking that stuff out. I got a lot of good stuff. I got stuff about Wii Sports. I got stuff about tier lists about Pokemon. I got Pokemon deck lists. Lethal Company, you name it, I got it on there. Anyways, I'm getting into a flow finally with like my long form content. So go subscribe to the YouTube channel. It'll help me.
Nice.
I didn't realize
Just
I wasn't subscribed. I can't believe it.
Yeah, me either. I
Terrible.
just subscribed.
So fake. No, I'm just kidding.
You guys suck.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I like
Thank
that.
you for having me
We're
on.
drinking
having
the
me
same
on, as
thing
always.
there, Flam.
What's that?
I got the same
Oh.
beverage, buddy.
Yeah, a good old Coke Zero, baby.
Not sponsored.
not
The third one.
I drink it too. We're gonna have to sponsor it.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored. So obviously you guys know who I am. I'm the host of the show, Nintendo Prime. We run the show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central Time live on the Nintendo Prime YouTube channel. You can find it there. Just type Nintendo Prime on YouTube. It'll pop up. Obviously post a lot of news stuff. If you've found us through maybe the podcast or any other method, we're also available pretty much everywhere that podcasts are heard. We have a place that we put it up on Podbean, and they just spread it out to everything. Literally every podcast app I download, I always find my podcast there. So they do a very good job of that. And then as for anything I have coming up, it's just kind of the same old. Over the last couple of weeks, I've added in vertical game streams. Those have actually been a lot more fun than I anticipated.
I noticed that earlier today. I saw you doing that.
I only did it for like 55 minutes today, and it still was really good. And we got through the Spirit Temple in that time, and it was good times. So yeah, it's been kind of interesting. The biggest thing I want to figure out on the vertical ones, which by the way, people wonder, well, why aren't you just doing like a normal stream? I want to try to. YouTube has changed, right? Mike Odyssey talked about changes, and one of the changes is there's a really big audience on Shorts. And not just for Shorts, also for live streams, the way TikTok has them. And so I kind of was like experimenting with it, and I found out that I've done game streams as normal streams, and I'd only get like 100 viewers. Whereas on TikTok, I'm somewhere getting 300, 400, 500 at times. So it's and I'm talking about live at once. Obviously, the overall viewers at the end are kind of a misnomer because anyone that flicks by for half a second, counts as a view. But so like you'll see the view numbers are really high, but it's sort of a misnomer. I just think that I'm reaching new audiences. We're gaining subscribers from that. I'm starting to see people who show back up to the stream the next time I do it. Because they I don't know if they turned on notifications for it. I don't know what they did. So it's been kind of an interesting way to play games because I'm reaching a larger audience than I was otherwise because I'm not a video game live streamer. I am a news channel. People like to come to my discussion oriented streams, not gameplay ones. So the biggest thing for me is trying to figure out how to do a 16:9 game and make it look good in that format. Right now, Ocarina of Time fits great. Majora's Mask's Nest that fits great. So how do I do a 16:9 game? Like I'm gonna have to zoom in some to make it look good, but I don't want to cut off everything because I tried just putting it in there like this, but then when I do that, everything looks really small. And I don't want it to be too small that you guys can't even see what's going on. Yeah. So like there's a whole trying to figure it out. I'm sure other people have already figured it out. I'm just not there yet because it's new to me. So that's just a new thing to do. I don't know if I'm going to do one tomorrow. I'll probably do one. My goal is to kind of do them in the AM before I really get going, unless there's a really big topic I need to get out the door. But we'll see. It's been kind of random. One thing I like about it is I just do it when I have time. Yeah. I don't really like plan them out. So there might be one tomorrow. There might not be one tomorrow. Tomorrow is my final regular live stream. We're at 8 p.m., which is the same time of this show, but on Thursdays, where you want to get deeper in the weeds on these rumors. Let's get deep. Let's go deep. That'll be tomorrow. So
dig deep, baby.
Dig deep, baby. All right. Thank you guys for being here. This is the Nintendo Prime Podcast. Thank you for a special thanks, by the way, to Thunder Steve and Mike Odyssey for both stepping up last minute. For a couple of guests that have some stuff going on. I know I saw a few comments wondering where Jake is. Jake is good. He is alive. He is doing okay. He's just going through some stuff, and it's up to him if he ever wants to talk about it. So,
yeah, keep your thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers, and all the kind words we can for Jake. We hope whatever you're going through, man. I sincerely hope it's going well. He obviously knows that he's got cystic fibrosis and other things, so. He's talked about that publicly, so just keep him in your thoughts, guys. Hopefully he'll be back next week, especially with Eric being out. A nice triumphant return of Jake Randall would be great. But I'm just going to work with the presumption that he might not be on for a bit while he's dealing with some stuff. So
if you need a spot, I'm I'll throw my hat in there because it's Pokemon, right? It'll be a Pokemon centric one, I assume.
You're throwing your hat. I'll be there next. Yeah, well, no duh. I wonder. There's a Pokemon thing that day. Oh, geez, that same day. You think we're going to talk about Pokemon? Oh no,
The day after. The day after.
After, yeah, Tuesday.
Yeah, but what if Metro Prime 4 leaks instead?
So honestly,
We'll talk about both. We'll talk about
It's not going to
both.
leak. It's not going to, dude. Okay, even if it leaks, it's not going to be gameplay. That's what I want to see. So then,
No. Let's say like we see like footage.
no way. Okay, when is the last time Nintendo footage leaked?
What if the Switch 2 package?
That would make it crazier, right? Exactly.
Yeah, that would actually make it like the main. We probably still will talk about Pokemon for a topic, but that would
Like,
become
for,
the
like,
main
5
topic.
minutes.
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
No, Flam would talk for 25 minutes on his own.
Yeah.
But
I got
Depends
you.
on Pokemon games.
Dude, I
Yeah,
need to make a video
Pokemon
essay
Stadium
about
3.
Pokemon.
yeah.
Yeah.
let's put it this way though. It's probably a good thing that Pokemon's next week because I would be here physically, or I'm gone next week because I'd be here physically, but not mentally if it's a Pokemon topic.
No, you might as well just play. You know what you could have did,
What?
especially in the Pokemon. You should have got your Switch out, play some games.
That true.
There you
I
go.
should have, but
Yeah.
yeah.
There you go. Make use of that time.
So-
All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. We'll be back same time next week. Don't ask me when season 3 begins because I don't know when it begins.
Don't forget
Later,
your
guys.
outro.
Yeah,
Outro.
Bye,
Outro.
everybody.
Oh, we have an outro.
Sorry I went crazy at the beginning of
We
the
have an outro.
podcast.
Yay!